All right. I'm streaming and live on YouTube. This is the first time I'm doing it, so I don't even see people chatting, but I don't know what I'm doing either. So I'm just going to go to YouTube and see from that perspective where it is. My videos, history, library. Doesn't say I could. It says that I could go live, but it doesn't tell me how I can share my screen directly from. I'm already, there's a viewer, so maybe if I click on this live now, I'll be able to see people's comments and stuff like that. Yeah, I've got people saying it looks good, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is working. Yeah. Again, I apologize. There's going to be some delay between what I say and what gets put up, so that when you type, just understand that I will get to your questions. I will get to your questions. So put the comments in there. Make sure that you're typing in the live chat for the stream, and I will see it over on the side of my screen. Unfortunately, the quality isn't that great with this stream, so you might not see all of my settings. I'm going to try bringing up the zoom of my screen and anticipate that that will help you. Hello, Melissa. How are you doing? Glad to have you. Yeah, exactly. Dylan, absolutely. That is what this entire live stream is going to be dealing with. How to adjust the settings with the new algorithm. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually remove all my indicators and start from scratch. I'm going to change the type of candle that we're dealing with as well, because I like bars, but I understand that bars sometimes do not appear very well. Let me know that you can see things pretty good. Again, I'm sure that the quality is not going to be beautiful, so I will be also announcing the settings that I put as I put them up. Melissa, that is okay. Relatively speaking, we are all newbies, and the reason why is because the market's always changing. Thanks, Craig. Are you awesome? Perfect, Mo. Glad to have you on board. So I'm just starting off with Lux Algo. I'm not going to go into too much detail about my trading strategy. What I want to do is just help you guys understand how this works, how Lux works, and how you can get it to give you good signals across trends. And we're going to start off with some 15-minute charts, working our way through all of the pairs that I trade, and which is all of them except for the Euro USD. And then we're going to go through it again, but on the 2-hour chart. So I'm going to be doing 15-minute chart, and then I'm going to do it on the 2-hour chart. And I'm going to be saving the settings exactly how I do it for every pair. So, yep, and scalping, I'm not going to cover settings for scalping in this video. However, I do have a video that just needs to be edited. I just have to edit the video where I do a quick little review of Lux Algo 3.0, and I play around with the settings as if I was to scalp. So let's talk the 15-minute chart. I'm on the Canadian Japanese yen, for those of you who might not have the definition to see. I have Lux Algo now on the screen. Good question, Matt. I personally don't like Heikin-Ashi candles, but that is, again, my strategy that I use. However, I know some people have great experience with HA. And then do a run through of what settings you would recommend for scalping stocks on breakouts via the new 3 versus 2, and what new tools do I have to help me? Thanks, Rikudo. I hope I said that correctly, Rikudo. I'm not going to be covering breakouts. All I'm doing for this is just helping people see ways that they can manipulate Lux to get the best signals. So obviously, we want these signals to be at highs and lows, and we want to minimize the amount of noise in between them so that we don't get caught leaving a trend earlier than what we want. So, but thank you. Good question, Rikudu. I'd be happy to maybe hit me up on Discord, send me a message. I'd be happy to meet with you one-on-one. We can do a screen share, and we can run through some of your favorite stocks to work with, and I'll show you how I would trade them. But that's not the purpose of this video. So what I do, I bring up the dashboard, not the dashboard, but the editor for the whole thing. With the new sensitivity and agility, what I'm doing is that I'm just starting off at around, I don't even remember what the default is, but I'm just going to start off at like 20 and 20. And I'm going to show you how I would bring this into fruition. I'm slowly crawling the sensitivity downwards because what I want is to make sure that I get the best signals at the tops and bottoms that I can. So I just slowly go down, and if I can see that I'm getting closer to the tops and bottoms, I'm going to be a happy camper. And you know what? For simplicity, I'm going to get rid of the bands and the cloud because I want to see most of the price. And then reset that. There we go. Just zoom out. Again, we want to see this the location and of the, yeah, I just want to see the location of the signals, and relatively speaking, try to get them as close to the tops and bottoms as I can. Now, that's not going to get perfect. There is no perfect setting. Now, I'm pretty happy with this. So now I'm going to start bringing down the agility factor to try to get closer to those tops and bottoms without adding too many signals. So there's some more that got added. So I'm going to bring up the sensitivity. I believe that's the direction I'm going to go. I'm still getting used to the new settings. Yeah, that's exactly what I needed to do. So I'm bringing down the agility. And as I bring it down, if I see too much noise, I'm just going to add a little bit of sensitivity because I do like the tops and bottoms that I'm seeing so far. Do I want to bring down? Yeah, I'm going to bring that down. So I'm just, again, I'm adjusting sensitivity and agility until I'm happy. Caleb, yeah, I change the settings for every pair because every pair behaves differently. Their ATRs are different. The ratios of the ATRs are different. And so, yes, I do set every pair separately. And I think I'm pretty much dialed in as close as I'm going to get. There are some, yeah, if I go down further than that, I'm adding some signals that I don't need to see. So now, obviously, you don't just follow these blindly, and you want to make sure that they are in conjunction with a trading style that you already like. So I'm a trend trader, so I use other tools to help me out. Hang on just a second. Come on in. Oh, hang on. Joanna's here. Okay, guys, hang on. I'm gonna be right back. I've got someone at my office here. Hang on. Sorry for the delay there, folks. I just have my office here and someone came by to visit me. So a dog barking. I don't think we have any dogs here. I don't think. Maybe there is. Oh yeah, one of the office mates here, they brought their dog. Okay. AFTAB, yeah, you know what? I've got some settings for that, but I'm not going to be covering that today. I'm going to be doing just the 15-minute and the 2-hour charts today, and that will be that. It's kind of weird. I see like a progress circle on some of the comments. And I don't know if that's just because you guys have been waiting for so long. I do apologize for that. Again, I just had someone show up at my office and had to quickly deal with that. So I've got signals majority of the time, obviously at the tops and the bottoms. There are some signals in here that I wouldn't follow, but that's because they're ranging. And I'm going to do a separate video on the contrarian. I'm still learning how to use those and utilize them. Again, my trading strategy, I don't usually get caught up in these too much. I can avoid those fairly easily. Again, the purpose of this video is just to show you how to adjust the sensitivity and agility to get the best locations of the signals. So I currently have it at 16 and 7, but like I encourage people to go and try other things too. Like what happens if it's at 30? You know, to me, I see 30 as not being effective because it's too far away from the highs and lows. So let's go back to 16, and I'm definitely far happier with that. So that would be a good starting point for the Lux Algo on a 15-minute chart for the Japanese yen. I'm going to just go like this here, and yeah, that's not bad. Again, some of these you can use other technical analysis to determine that that's not going to be a good buy, right? Like there's this one strong here that I see, and it's low. And I can see how I would not be entering into that trade just by yeah, I probably wouldn't be entering that trade. Again, I don't see my other indicators, but the purpose of this video is just to show you how to get the signals to the tops and bottoms, to the highs and lows as close as possible. Oh, cool. Yeah, you betcha. Aftab, I will definitely be sharing my settings for my scalping the US 30. I'll definitely be sharing those settings. Another time though, again, this video here is just to get people set up with the highs and lows. So that's not bad. I'm pretty happy with that. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to go on. Oh, I'd love to be able to get this one closer. Wouldn't that be great if I could get this signal up here? You know, that would give us an extra 4 or 5 pips, right? So let's call it up and see if we can move the sensitivity and the agility in such a way that we get up higher. Oh, see, that's already better. Yeah, I saw a few better signals there. Let's go down. Ooh, I'm actually getting closer, guys. Higher agility than the sensitivity can generally be effective at times for optimizing it more. Oh, so higher agility than the sensitivity. And see, I've always just figured that the agility had to be lower. That is good to know. Okay, so too many signals there at 10. Let's see what happens. Yeah, let's play around with this, see what happens. I'm going to bring the agility up to 25 and just see. Okay, so that moved it away from the lows. I'm just going to bring it down from here until we see the highs and the lows getting painted. And I just go one by one and wait for it to load. Like there's nothing wrong with these at all, guys. And I think one of the reasons why this particular strong might be late is just because of this volatility that we saw here, right? It's probably taking, you know, from a larger moving average, because this is clearly some, like a quick little pulse there, that there might be being ignored by the algo, which is really smart, because you don't want to get caught up into yeah, you don't want to get caught up in that. So I'm just going to bring it down, bringing these sensitivities at 11. I'm at 10 on agility and bringing it down. And I'm finding that I am crawling. I'm inching these signals closer to the highs and lows, which I'm really glad, because that's the objective. So that's not bad. I'm going to keep it there. So 11 and 6. Again, this is the Canadian Japanese yen on the 15-minute chart. I personally don't use Heikin-Ashi candles. It's a common question. I just don't, because I'm not a fan of them. I like to see the price action as it happens, and Heikin-Ashi requires there's too much of a lag to the reading that I find. It's great for longer time frames, but especially if it's less than 4 hours, I'm not a fan of Heikin-Ashi. That's personal preference. Guys, I don't want you to think that you shouldn't be using them. That's just my trading style. I don't like it. It doesn't fit my trading style. So I'm going to add on the EQ and the reversal bands, and I'm just going to show you very briefly how I would trade in this case. I have a setting that I use on the cloud, the equalizer cloud, that gives me that front edge of the cloud with a little bit of a painted line so that I can see it. And when I cross that, then I check to make sure that I've got enough volatility and enough strength to support entering a trade. And if that's the case, then I'll go ahead and enter it. Sometimes I beat the signal, and other times the signal beats me. So I don't personally, I don't make or break a trade based on what Lux signal gives me, but I still have them displayed because I like to be able to see where does Lux think the highs and the lows are, because that can be helpful as I'm forming my as I'm forming my entry. Again, some of these, like this one here, I can tell I probably would not have taken this just because of how long it had come out of here and started to consolidate. I would have waited for it to break above this area. Let's just go like this so you can see, because it was starting to range here. We had highs and lows that were staying within that range. I would have waited until it broke out in this area here, and then waited for the next signal to come back in, which to me would have been here. And that would have worked out because we would have met from here. Oh, let's get this thing. There we go. So based on this, you know, ATR on this, let's just see what the ATR would be. See, guys, I can't trade. I can't just stop and show you how to set the settings. Look at me go. I got to actually show you how I trade because I need to see the ATR to have an idea of how much money I can make on a certain trade, what my profit's going to be. I'm going to also bring in my smooth moving average, and I'm going to bring in the volatility and the oscillator. So this is my suite, guys. Oh, and the absolute strength histogram. And then what I do for that is that I grab my average true range and I put it inside the same, no, that's and the absolute strength. I put it inside my absolute strength indicator. And let's just move the pane up because I like to see it at the top. There we go. And the oscillator is messed up again. Guys, at Lux, I think we narrowed it down to there being a problem with TradingView because for whatever reason, my Lux oscillator does this. And I had to get it again, I have to zoom out. There it is. Bring it to the center. Before I can actually see it. So I think it's a TradingView thing because it seems to only happen to me. Okay, thanks for your patience, guys. We're going to move on to the next pair. These are the settings that I have, and I have them saved for. Oh no, actually, you know what? These are not going to be what's saved. I have to redo them. So let's find out what I would set my absolute strength histogram at. 10 and 3 are common, and I like it. And I just quickly check to make sure that I've got confirmed. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I just check to make sure that I have the strength where I need to see it. So for instance, if we're starting a downward trend, I want to make sure that my absolute strength histogram is showing bears being strong. And if it is, then I'm happy to enter the trade. But if I'm seeing, you know, if my indication is saying, oh, hey, we crossed below this line, the green line, and I don't have the strength to support it, then I'm not going to enter the trade. So I just like to see, okay, where my signals are. Am I seeing the consistency in the strength? Then I'm probably good to go. I don't have to make any more adjustments. And this particular setting is good. Pound Jippy, yeah, you know what? That's a great pair. I'm going to go to that one next. Yeah, I'm happy with these. This one here. That I might not have taken this one because that oscillator was rather old. I'm not entirely, yeah, no. That was the lowest the oscillator had been for a while, so I'm okay with that. Cool, I think I'm good. I think I'm happy with these settings. Just doing a quick back test. I'm not going to bore you guys too much more. We're going to move on. But what I do is that once I found the settings for the pair that I'm working with, I actually save it. I actually save it right here, right now, because I do not want indicator templates. I save it right here because I don't want to be messing around with others, like other pairs have different behaviors, different ATRs, different movements. And so this is my CAD Jippy Lux 3. I'm just remembering the symbol, and I just need to remember to click these two because I need it locked to this pair and this time frame. Because a different pair, different time frame, different settings, guys. The strategy doesn't change. My strategy doesn't change how I trade, but the settings may need to change depending on the pair. All right, had the request for Pound Jippy. Let's go check it out. We're gonna go. Where's my Jippy? There it is. All right, so as you can see, I've got the old settings still. So I'm going to just get rid of it. I'm going to keep my, oh, the only thing I have to change out is the volatility indicator. And we get that one. Okay, perfect. So we're back into Lux again. I've got the bars on. I apologize. I'm going to put some candles so you can see better. And just while I'm setting the settings, I'm going to go ahead and just take off the overlays. Okay, so this is the 2-hour chart on the pound yen, and I can already tell that, you know, because of the new settings from Lux 3.0, there are some, you know, the signals aren't bad, but there are some changes that I want to see happen just to make sure that I get closer to the highs and lows. So go ahead, open up the settings. I'm just going to move it down here so I can see the whole chart. And I don't know how I got into this idea that this would be a good default. I'm just going to go like this and then save that as a default. There we go. So that's too many signals, especially in some of these trends up here. So I'm going to bring it down on the sensitivity. And oh, that's too far. I probably just didn't, I was going down, I was clicking down, but it probably just didn't leave it, let it load. And I always get that mixed up. So it's actually the higher sensitivity, the less signals. I want to see some of these disappear if I can. This is nice though. Like that's a great place. That's a great placement. I'm going to bring down the agility now. Oh, no, I don't want to do that because I'm getting too close or too many signals. Yeah, I think that's good. 18 and 8. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I've got good distance between my highs and lows, no weird false signals. Where it's ranging, obviously, you're going to start to see that. But with my trading strategy, I don't usually get caught up in consolidations. Or if I do, it's like one trade I lose in a consolidation, and then I can usually catch myself from entering again until I'm outside of that ranging area. Again, disclaimer is I have not worked with the contrarian signals yet, which I understand can be helpful in areas of consolidation where the price is ranging. But yeah, there we go. I've got that one set up now. That's the 2-hour. I already know that these settings are good for me. I'm happy with them. I'm just going to do one more double check with the overlays. This is the pound yen on the 2-hour chart, and let's just see how things pan out for us. So this one might have had some drawdown. Let's just see what our ATR is here. Yeah, a little bit of drawdown on that one. Not too bad. I'm not too disappointed by that drawdown, but there's nice trend there that we could catch based on my entries that I like to use. One thing that's good to note is like the pound, the euro, USD, those are all currencies that have a lot of manipulation within them. So you got to take them with a grain of salt when you see what they're doing. See there? No, I'm probably not. Nope. That one there, let's see here. 341. Yeah, no, that was let's just zoom in a little bit here and see if I can find where this entry would have been and make sure that my settings are happy with these. Dun, 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 dun. If you want, I encourage you, like if you want to see my trading strategy, definitely check out my other videos on my YouTube channel. I go into greater detail on how my strategy works. I just want to get a sense of what kind of ranging happens with this area. I might not have been able to avoid that one, and sometimes you lose and then you just move on and take the next time, which actually turned out to be very good. Yep, that was a very good trade. Probably would have had my trailing stop take me out around that area, so 6 hours and getting a good 48 pips out of that, that's pretty good. Okay. I think that's good for the pound yen on the 2 hour. Let's just save it. Always save your indicators. GBP. GB what? 2 hour. Lux 3.0. And there we go. Now let's just quickly jump to the 15-minute chart and do the same thing. And maybe the settings can stay the same. But typically speaking, I am changing the settings whenever I change the pair. Yeah, so definitely on the 15-minute for the pound yen. I am going a lot lower with the sensitivity factor just to bring it closer to the highs and lows. There's a little bit of noise on the signals, but I'm okay with it at 11. And then let's see what I can do about the agility to minimize. No, actually, you know what? Even the number of signals aren't bad. And if I go down on agility, I can probably get another couple candlesticks out of these trends. Ooh, actually, I saved myself some pips over there. Oh, yeah. So I don't mind those ones. So I'm at 11 and 6 right now. I'm pretty happy with this. I don't think I'm going to push it anymore. I'm at 5 now. Ooh, and look at that. 11 and 4. Again, I'm on the pound yen 15-minute chart. Lux Algo 3.0, I have it set to 11 and 4. And it appears, oh my goodness, 11 and 3, and I'm still getting closer to the highs and lows. Interesting. Wow. Lux has done themselves here. Okay, so 11 and 2. 11 and 2 on the pound yen. Thanks, Caleb. Thanks, Caleb. I'm looking forward to chatting with you. I'd love to see what wow, look at that candle, crazy. Love to see how that strategy is working for you. We did well today. Today in the trade room, I did 7.9% in 2 hours, scalping a few things using the same strategy that I'm talking about here that I allude to. And just first thing I did was I went in and tightened up these signals so that they're closer to the highs and lows, and then went ahead and started trading at about 11 Mountain Standard Time. And we finished off at 1 o'clock with a 7.9% increase in our balance. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this, guys. I'm good. Like, I'm watching some of these entries here. They're satisfactory. Good stuff. This is going into the reversal band. When it comes out of the reversal band and hits the comes out of the reversal band, right? We see a sell here. This strong, I would have ignored that simply because I don't have strength to support it. But then when we hit this sell, look at that. We just barely crossed the smooth moving average. But that next candle, that's my entry. And yeah, sure, it consolidated for a while, but I would have had minimal drawdown. Yeah, minimal drawdown based on my ATR. And if I would have held out, and I probably would have because the volatility just dropped. Yeah, so without any volatility, I don't leave the market. And then it went down and it did quite well. Probably would have had my trail stop take me out around that area. So yeah, 28 pips. Is that right? 28. Yeah, 28. Yep, 28 pips. And then what else do we have going on? Let's just see if that was a false one for me. Yeah. So because this is the 15-minute chart, well, if I was scalping, I probably would have taken this. But this particular candlestick, because we're in a downward trend already, I probably would have just let that one go. I did cross my line, but the trend had just switched, so I would just wait for the next opportunity to show me to go down. Which was the next candle, I believe. Nope, didn't have strength in the bears until here. So there's my entry. Drawdown was, again, minimal. I'm okay with that. And we got another. My trailing stop would have took me out and probably could have got about 49 pips out of that. Good. Yeah, so I'm happy with these settings. Anybody else want to shoot me a pair or a metal or an indice? Those are the main three main things that I trade. So go ahead and shoot them off to me, and I will go to that. Okay. I'm happy with that. That's good. Let's go back. I'll go back to, let's go to Australian. You know what? I was just thinking the same thing. Australian USD. You got it, my friend. Let's call it up. I don't understand why my Aussie. USD. Here we go. Oh, look at all the people giving me ideas to do. You know what? But these are all going in the list, guys. Let me write it down. So we have Australian USD. We're going to do that one first. I love Australian USD. Great pair. And then we've got another request is Bitcoin USD tethered. I don't think I've ever opened that chart. GBP Swissy. I'll write that one down. We'll do that one. Yeah, Melissa on the pound Jippy. I'll get back to that right away. But pretty sure 11 and 2. Just writing down these other requests here. We've got, yeah, another one of my favorites, gold USD. And I believe that that's good. Okay, cool. So those are the requests that we're going to go through. We're going to set up Australian USD, Bitcoin USD, pound Swissy, and gold. Okay. Australian USD, a 15-minute chart. And I do have Lux 3 on here, but I know that this setting is what I was using for scalping earlier. Don't take these settings, guys. I did well, but don't take these settings because I haven't actually gone in fine detail and with careful back testing that this is accurate. I did well today, but I just want to let you guys know, like I'm not sold on those settings yet because I'm still learning how Lux moves along with my adjustments. So I'm just sticking around 11, it looks like. And I'm going to bring down the agility, see if I can get closer to the highs and lows. I see a couple strongs here right after each other. But I don't believe that those are entries for me anyway. Nope, that wouldn't have been an entry for me, I don't think. Yeah, maybe. Tough to say. Where did my, there we go. 11 and 2 possibly again. I'm just going to go and play around a little bit in the 16, 17 area. Oh, hey, that's nice. Fewer signals, and they are not that bad. 13. So I went up from 11 to 13, and I'm just going to go back along a different area and just test to see. 11 versus 13. Yeah, again, taking out some of the noise in the ranging areas. I'm happy with that. I like it when that happens. I'm just going to bring up the agility and see if I drift away from my highs and lows. Yep, actually, would prefer to have it there. So 13 and 3 is what I would start off with on the Australian US dollar 15-minute chart. I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty good. Again, I'm just going to quickly zoom in a little bit to see if there what would identify as a whether or not my strategy would help identify the false strongs. Yep, I would not have entered here only because we're still in a downward trend according to the equalizer. When I'm scalping, I do it a little bit differently. But yeah, there's no strength there. So we were in the reversal band here, and then we came down and crossed below. Did we cross below right there? 147, we did. So now I just count up my ATR, and I think this would have been a stop out. Yep, I would have stopped out on that one. Oh, wait, is that right? 58. Yep, that would have stopped me out. So that means that what I have to do for that instance, and if that, especially if it happened again later, that's not bad. That's not bad. Let's see if it happens again. I just want to make sure that I avoid the bad trades, and it might have been just one instance. Yeah, see, that was just the one instance where it would have taken me out, but I would have kept my rules and made that money back right away. Because look at this, guys. So we were in the band, right? We were in the band, came down, crossed, and then we went back up again just to clear out the bankers just took out some positions. If you guys want to see my stance on banks, send me a private message. I have no problem sitting down with you one-on-one and showing you how the banks trade. Because if you can understand that, it will be hugely helpful in the way that you trade. So we have this coming down, right? On the 15-minute chart, we crossed below my smooth moving average, which to me is when it leaves the band, that is my first indicator that we could be on a trend. When I cross the smooth moving average, that's my second indicator, my confirmation that we are going into another trend. So I would have taken this trade and I would have taken a loss. Would have lost 3%. And no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I would have lost 3% on that trade. However, recognizing that this is a banker's move, they were just taking out. People came out of this and they were like, "Oh, cool, it's going down," and the bankers are like, "Yeah, fooled you," and they took it back again. That is an indication to me that I'm looking for another entry opportunity because they've cleared out those positions and they're ready to go short. So there's my next signal saying, yeah, we can go down. I've got everything down here showing me. Oh, nope. Look, guys. Oh, wow. Isn't that something? At that point where I said, oh, yeah, that would be a loss, I actually have indicators preventing me from entering that trade. If you look down, I don't have strength in my bulls, or bears rather. So that is not my entry. I also have no volatility. So that would have prevented me from that loss. Next time it crosses, I've got strength in the bears. My volatility says, see, my volatility is low. But I'm actually, I have to double check with Lux, but I think they've actually made some changes to the algorithm inside their volatility tool because I've noticed some trades that I'm missing because it says that my volatility is low, but it actually isn't. if I compare it to what I normally see. I'm just going to see what the dashboard says. So the dashboard says 20.91. And that's because I'm pretty sure they base that on a 21 candle average. Yeah, so there's 21. Yeah, who knows? That volatility dropped below 25. So I wouldn't have taken that trade. I would have missed that opportunity, but that's okay because usually if the volatility is low, I don't have good trades. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Australian US dollar, 15-minute chart. I'm pretty happy with where these are set. Again, some of these are iffy, right? Like that there is actually technically a bearish trend by the EQ, and so I wouldn't have entered that trade. I'm only going to follow what the EQ says is my trend or coming out of the reversal. And in this case here, for whatever reason, my volatility wasn't high enough to go in. And it's weird because, again, it looks to me like that would be fine volatility for me to go in. Anyway, signals are pretty good in the highs and lows, and they're not too noisy. Again, when you see stuff like this, guys, always do your technical analysis. There's a strong signal pointing up, right? But I wouldn't be in that trade. I wouldn't be taking that for two reasons. Number one, if I was going to do it, it would have been back here because that's when I crossed my green line and there wasn't volatility to enter the market, so I wouldn't have entered. Coming back down, volatility is up. We got a strong signal, and that would have profited 10 pips. So that's a great example of why you don't just follow a trade signal from Lux blindly. Do your technical analysis, determine whether or not it's actually valid. Look at this, strong signal, but look at my absolute strength histogram. It says it's not strong at all. The bulls are not strong, so I wouldn't have taken that. Plus, that's not my entry anyway. My entry would have been here, and that would have been successful. Just a little bit of drawdown. Let's see what the ATR is, 80. Yep, so I would have taken probably a good 3% on that trade over, what is that, 2.5 hours. 15-minute chart, beautiful. Okay, let's move on to a 2-hour chart. Oh, wait, save it. Odd USD 15-minute. Remember the symbol, remember the interval, and let's move on to the 2-hour on Australian, and then we're going to do Bitcoin USD tethered. Well, it's not bad already. I haven't even changed anything. But again, that's because Australian USD, I like it. It's a consistent pair. But let's see. Maybe we can adjust it, get it even better. Yep, already. I think it went from 13 down to 12. And no, actually, it's not better because it's just more signals. At 13, I actually had better positioning. Let's see what the agility does. Oh, that agility moved that sell to a lower position. Yep. $13 and 2 for the Australian US dollar 2-hour chart. Let's just go and check out some of the entries, make sure that they're solid. Let's grab, it's coming out of an area of consolidation here. Let's see, what is this? Yep, that's okay. And what is my ATR is 220. Yep, so that would have been 68 pips. Here's a possible entry. I would have taken that. Strength where I need it. Volatility. Oscillator's fine. Yep, let's see what the drawdown on that would have been. Acceptable. Yep, acceptable drawdown, and that would have been a nice 100 pips in 6 hours. Or six, oh, not 6 days. Sorry, guys. Let me just double check that. Right there. Yeah. 6 day trade, 100 pips. Man, that's good. That is nice. You know, you can sleep really well at night when you've got solid trades like that happening, eh? We were in, look at this too. We were in the reversal band, and then we came out of the reversal band, crossed below the SMMA with a sell signal. That's an entry. It is definitely an entry on all my indicators. 188. Yeah. That would have been nice. My trailing stop would have got me at 100, at 101 pips on that one. Beautiful. Hey, Ian, Arasak, off of Discord. Thanks for coming and joining us. I will not be covering scalping in this video. I'm just showing people how to set up their Lux to get the best signals closest to the highs and lows as possible on the 15-minute and 2-hour charts for this video. But hit me up, send me a message, because I've got new settings coming out for gold on the 1-minute chart that we traded successfully today with. I got 7.9% in 2 hours, 7.9% increase in my balance in 2 hours this morning. And my settings were hot on gold, I can tell you that. Yep, that's good. Band. And this one. Yeah, this one actually would have been a loss, guys. I would have lost this one. Let me just double check. Yeah, I would have entered on this trade, and that would have been a loss, but that happens sometimes. But I probably, yeah, I would have mitigated that loss. I wouldn't have lost much because my exit point is when I cross the smooth moving average. So, yeah, it's nice. It's nice when I can see that happen in advance, so I don't lose. Like when I'm risking 3%, I don't usually lose 3% because I'm watching. I'm watching what's going on, and if this one here, you know, I would have lost only 13 pips instead of, like, if I just let it go, I probably would have lost my full 3%, but that would have been only maybe like a quarter, like, so quarter of that, so 0.75%, because I can identify when I need to exit. Regardless if I'm in profit or if I'm in a drawdown, I know when I need to exit, usually before I even hit my stop loss. Let's see what this one turned out to be. 185. Drawdown is a little bit high. But I also have, let me just see here. Yeah, that just happens sometimes. 183. Yeah, it's because someone was clearing out some positions there, but we ended up going up, and I would have made it back no problem here. Yep, beautiful. 5 days, 185 pips. Whew. And that's just one pair, guys. If you do this, what I like about my strategy is that I can do this across all 27. I trade 27 pairs. I do not trade the Euro USD, but I do this setup, like I do this trading strategy across all those pairs. And so I'm seeing this kind of motion, right? Like, it's like, oh yeah, but that's just one pair. And, you know, I had a loss here, right? That would have been a loss, but then I would have maintained my rules. Following my rules, I would have made it back and then some. Because you stick to the rules. Stick to the rules. And I've got more than just this pair happening, right? I'm watching all the pairs. I have alerts on everything. Let's just see what this entry was like. Yeah, that shows up nicely. I already know whether or not that one's going to profit, but what I'm doing is that I'm just lining up where those candles cross, and I'm just confirming that my indicators are all working properly, and that you know, they keep me out of the bad trades, which we've seen, and they help me identify the good ones, which they do. So let's just see this crossing. Yep, we're good there. We're good there. This one is an entry, but 146. Yep, so my drawdown there is acceptable, and it would have been a nice trade over a period of 2 days, 125 pips. Well, 2.5 days. Okay, cool. So that's the Australian US dollar confirmed. Those are nice, some nice settings, and they complement my trading strategy really well. Let's go on. Next request. Bitcoin. I am not a fan of Bitcoin, but we can definitely play around with it. I gotta go get it though. Coin. Let's pull up. Which broker do you guys want me to use? I might just grab currency.com. Binance isn't bad, I hear. But again, I don't trade cryptos, and especially the Tether. When I do trade cryptos, I'm just going straight USD instead of the Tether. Binance, okay, cool. Yeah, thank you for letting me know. That's Binance, and the other one, oh, that's Perpetual. Okay. Let's go get some settings. No idea why these other charts popped up, but what is this layout? Come on, load. No idea what layout this is here. Aussie. What? Okay. Bitcoin. I'm going to start off with a 15-minute so you guys can see how I would do it for that. And look at that, eh? Like I haven't even touched this thing yet. And it seems to be happy. But let's see if we can make it happier. And absolutely, Ian, all we're after is getting these signals to be as close to the highs and lows as possible. That's all it boils down to. And play around, guys. Like I'm setting things based on what I like to see. But if you're doing stuff and you're noticing your strategy doesn't, like for instance, a Fibonacci strategy might have a different requirement. You aren't necessarily, you're looking for highs and lows. I get that. But your entry point might not have a signal using these settings. So go and test your strategy, adjust your settings so that you get your signal where you need it to be based on the strategy you're using. That's what's so awesome about Lux, guys. You are not tied to a trading strategy with Lux. It's brilliant and beautiful and gorgeous and all those things. I wish there were enough words that my vocabulary is not that great. I should probably work on that. Okay, so I'm seeing already drifting away from highs and lows by going up higher than that. I'm currently at 13 and 3 for those of you that might not see the definition in my screen. It's not too bad. I'm not seeing any real bad signals. And that one's even better. So 13 and 2. Yep, 13. Oh, maybe 12. Let's just double check here. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I'm actually going to keep 13 and 2 for the 15-minute on Bitcoin. Now on Bitcoin Tether, I'm going to just see what some of my entries would tell me. Yeah, this entry, too bad. So sad. And this is why I don't trade cryptos, because that to me is an entry and it went completely the opposite direction. And there's nothing telling me that that's an entry. Some people might, and with a different trading strategy, possibly, right? This is an entry for me, but it doesn't actually go down far enough. I don't think. ATR is 93.7. So yeah, no, I wouldn't have even taken profit on that entry. Oh, but no, except this is already in an upward trend, so I wouldn't have entered because this is upward trend. Sometimes I forget whether I'm looking at a chart that I'm scalping versus not, right? Some good entries I see there. Even continuations, those are nice. Hey, Vikas, you know what? I don't do options trading. I'm not against it. I got nothing against options trading. In fact, I see some good opportunities there, but I just never focused on it. And so in my learning, I never got to really get good at it. But I mean, when it comes right down to it, my entries, I could profit doing options. Because my entries are like I'm 73% accurate on my entries. So I could definitely do options. I just don't. I trade like this. Okay, so 53 on that one. That's an entry. Everywhere else, yeah. And then we just determine whether or not I would have stopped out. Yep, that would have stopped me out on that upward trend because that's what happens. So what I've done in the past, guys, is that I've actually set my stop loss higher. So 53.29 is my ATR. So I would have got stopped out on this one, but I'm playing with Bitcoin and Ripple, and I'm increasing my stop loss to beyond the previous low. So not this one, but this one. So that would be my stop loss there, which in case in my testing, I would have profited. But again, I'm risking less and I'm have larger spreads on my stop loss and take profits. And so therefore the opportunities aren't always there either. But like they're there, guys, they're there. Don't get me wrong. Like, look at this. This is technically an entry, even with my trading strategy. And that would have been with an ATR of 50, you know, I would have had about 300. And I know it doesn't look like it, but just trust me, I'm doing some math in my head, and that would have been 301. Yeah, 301 on that one. Okay, so that's about it for that one. Let's go to the 2 hour and get some settings. Oh, wait, let's get the settings to confirm 13 and 2. How do I use my indicators to confirm an entry? Oh, there's a few other questions here. So the same settings you use will work fine with options. Okay, so again, Vikas, it would be really good for you to do some back testing with my strategy on options. But because I am 73% accurate with my trading strategy, I would say that it would work for you in options. But again, like I should have put a disclaimer at the beginning of this video. I am not a professional, financial advisor. I don't do any of that stuff. Trading presents risks, and you could lose more money than you put in. All that good stuff. So there's my disclaimer. I believe that my trading strategy can work with options. You're going to have to do some back testing just to make sure. But I'm pretty accurate, and I haven't gone and learned how to do options or practiced it just because I've been doing good. I have been doing good without it. Okay, so the next question, how would you use your indicators to confirm an entry? Stressed, great nickname, by the way. Hopefully, if we can work together, you won't be so stressed. But no, it's what I do is that I will look at my other indicators as confirmation in this way. So here's a crossing. We have a buy signal, and we crossed the green line that I put on the front end of the equalizer cloud. I'm going to show you how I do that. I go to Style, and I go to Cloud 2, and I give it that green paint. That is my entry point on most trades. Most of my trades require that. So there it is. There it crosses. We've got a buy signal. Now what I'm checking for my other indicators is down here. You'll see, bringing the crosshair down, I've got strength in the bulls. So I'm going up and I have strength in the bulls. The chances of me going in are really, really strong. Now, I'm using this as an example. I don't trade Bitcoin and Tether. But that trade worked out. Excuse me. Yeah, you know what? I can't pronounce, I don't think I can pronounce that, but JSAC, you know what? I haven't played with the contrarian signals yet, but apparently they're very helpful inside consolidation. When things are consolidating for me, I can usually catch it within 2 trades, so I don't lose a whole lot. And I just create a box. So for instance, let's say for instance this was a consolidation area, which it appears to be. Yep. That is a consolidation area. So then what I would do is that I would just make a box and say, okay, we're in consolidation clearly because my highs and my lows are getting closer together. So then I need my candle to close outside of that consolidation zone before I look for another entry. And there it goes, closes outside. There's my next entry because we came out of the reversal band and I crossed my smooth moving average. And that would have been a trade. And in this instance here, it's a good one. You know, 300 pips in less than an hour. Bottom of blue, grab a call. Oh, how do I use the oscillator? Good question. So I use the oscillator as more of a visualization of where I might be in the trend. So if I am coming in and I see that my oscillator, let's see if I can find an example where an entry may have been invalidated by the oscillator. I don't see one actually. Yeah, I don't see one here. But basically, the way that I use the oscillator, I'm just going to bring it up here so you can see better. The way that I would use the oscillator is if the oscillator gets pinched off, or if it changes color, then I'm probably not going to use that as I'm definitely not using that as an entry. That's what I use the oscillator for. It's just kind of like the last confirmation on that helps me avoid bad trades. That's how I use it. I don't use it for anything else. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm looking for convergence and all that stuff. Great, or confluence rather. You know what? Great. If that works for you, that's awesome. But I don't. And it's not wrong to use it that way. I just don't. That's the 15-minute on Bitcoin. We're going to go up to the 2-hour now. The settings are as such 13 and 2 for the sensitivity and volatility, or the agility. Now I've got open the 2-hour chart. It's not bad, but let's see if we can get it even better. I'm going to actually zoom someplace where it's not so obvious. Here, this is better. So we just start adjusting. Look at that, already too many signals. I'm not a fan. So I start moving up and I'm moved away from highs and lows. So now I start moving the agility. Yep, agility at 4 starts to drift away from the highs and lows. So it looks like the agility is going to be 2 again. So 13 and 2 on the 2-hour chart for the Bitcoin Tether. Another comment from JSAC. Bottom of blue, grab a call. Top red, grab put. Is that right? Then exit when the opposing color appears. You could do it that way if you wanted to. I think you're talking about options again. I wouldn't. And the only reason is because there's a lot of that happening like in here. That's a like there it switched, right? Maybe if you have maybe if you have the settings, you'd have to play around and see what works. If you have the settings up high enough, maybe that will help you avoid the bad trades. But again, I don't trade the options. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with them. I just never got into it. There's an entry on the 2-hour, and it looks to me like it's a healthy one that would profit. Might take a few days, but I'll see. Actually, no, it would have profited right away. Yep. Based on the ATR, that would have been a profit right away. And if you would have held on through that consolidation area, you would have even got more. But during that consolidation, there were some signals that tell me to get out. So, oh, no, because the volatility was low. Yeah. So you could have hung on to that one and got over 3 days, 390 pips. Yeah, cool. So there we have it. The Bitcoin tether is on the 2-hour is the same, 13 and 2 as the 15-minute. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to the pound Swissy. Pound Swissy. I've got some odd things happening. Why is this showing euro on my sterling layout? I don't know. Okay, let's go look it over here, see if the pound is over here. Yeah, there it is. Pound Swissy. Stressed, you are more than welcome. Hope that helps. Shoot me a message if you have more questions. Guys, if you have questions, I am super happy to help you out. I want you to know one of my passions is to help people make money. And I was in marketing, and so that helped a lot of businesses make money. But in the corporate world, there's a lot of backstabbing, competition gets fierce, and it can get really stressful. And I found with this, I could help people make money, and there's no competition. In fact, the more I help people, the more money I make because it helps me refine my trading strategy all the time. You know, even in the last 3 months, I have made tweaks to my trading strategy that helped me win more and lose less. So if you have questions, hit me up in Discord, private message me, and let's set up a time. I'll go over your charts with you. I got no issues. We'll do a screen share and just make sure everything's set up the way that you need to feel great about your charts. Pound Swiss franc on the 2-hour chart. So the pound Swiss franc is every once in a while it's got its great movements, and then for long periods of time it can go with very little movement. So take that into consideration. Like, look at this area here. This whole area is all consolidation for days and days and days. 21 days of consolidation that I would have not been trading. So not that that's bad, you know, just keep in mind that this pair especially, I've noticed, can range for days before it does anything, before it chooses what to do. Let's open up our Lux. Oh, I'm still on 2.9 here. Lux Algo, premium. Bring it on. Beautiful trade there, eh? Look at that. Beautiful. Let's see if we can get these settings nice. So 14 and 7 is my starting point, just because I kind of feel that that's pretty good. Yeah, so 13, if I go to 12, it brings up a little bit of noise. So it looks like 13 is going to be my setting for that. Agility, let's see what it does. If I bring it down. Oh, Did I get better? Yep, that was even a better signal. Okay, that's not bad. I'm not going to go more than that, I don't think. Oh, no, let's try 2. Let's see what happens on 2. 13 and 2. Oh, wow. Look at that. Even better. There's a little bit of noise here, but I'm even closer to my tops and bottoms down in here, in this area. So that's that. Indicator overlay. Let's get this baby going. And let's check out some of my entries, make sure they line up. Oh, volatility. Again, that's the old Lux volatility tool. People ask me, what do you need that volatility for? I need to see volatility to support my entering the market. If there's no volatility, I'm out. Leave it alone. Okay, so here's an entry. We got a sell signal. Let's see if this worked out for us. Yep, volatility's there. Indicators are saying yay. 254. Let's see if we got it. Yep, that would have been a successful trade. Which moving averages? I actually only have one moving average, and that is the smooth moving average set to 8. And the other line that you see on there, Shamak, that is the front end, like the leading edge of the Lux EQ cloud. So that I do that right there. I set cloud 2 to green so that I can see the front end of that cloud. The other question, would it be better to dial these in using the line chart, or do you factor in the wicks as well? Good question. I've never tried just using the line chart. Yeah, I've never tried that. It might work. I don't. Yeah, it's interesting. I never even thought of that. There could be some opportunities in there if you take a look at that. Again, I don't. I trade using bars. I don't even use candles. And the only reason I use bars is because I don't need to see colored candles to know if I'm going up or down when I have bars, right? Because that tells me exactly whether or not I'm going up or down already. And it's a minimal chart. I like minimal. Good idea to use RSI to get extra confirmation. Well, that's a really good question, Shamak. Thanks for that. A lot of people like RSI. I don't. In fact, whenever I'm creating my indicators, like there's the option for me to even use RSI in my absolute strength histogram right here, but I don't. And the reason why I do not use RSI is because in Forex, there's no such thing as oversold and overbought. You think about it. With the way that these countries can print money, it is impossible to be overbought and oversold. Now, the indicator itself might work out for you. Even the stochastic, I hesitate to use it in Forex as an indicator. I do use the oscillator from Lux, from which I understand has some stochastic influences, but it's not a stochastic. And so it for me, again, it's not a confirmation. It's more of an avoidance of, I use it to avoid bad trades. That's what I use it for. My confirmations are always the moving averages or crossing that front line of the EQ. Now that could be a moving average, guys. I don't know how they made that cloud. I think it's brilliant. I have not been able to find a moving average that does just that. Gets close, but not just this. And when I use a moving average, because before I found Lux, I was using a moving average in place of that leading edge of the EQ. My moving averages didn't work out all the time. I had more accuracy when I got to Lux and I used that instead of my slower moving average as an entry. I hope that answers. How do I use the ATR? Good question. Another good question. You guys are awesome. I use my ATR for money management only. I put it inside with my histogram, not because they're related. I put it inside with my histogram just so I'm using fewer panels. And I don't even look at the ATR line itself. I'm only looking at the ATR number, the value that it's at right there. Because I use that number to determine what my stop loss and take profit's going to be. Okay, so 13 and 2. Pound franc, that seemed to be the best one. And I hope that this helps you seeing how I come up with these numbers as well. I don't have the math in my head on what are the perfect numbers. I go in and I test them, tweak them, move them around, see if it works. A lot of pairs do move and breathe the same way. And so sometimes the settings duplicate, but then there are some things you got to change it up with. Otherwise, you're going to get in trouble. Yeah, stressed, go ahead. Message anybody wants to message me on Discord and ask me questions. I'm more than happy to help them. That's how we all grow. So let's move on to the 15-minute chart for the pound Swissy and get the settings good for this. Zoom out a little bit, catch a few more trends, because remember, the pound Swiss, it sometimes does a bunch of ranging, right? So you got to watch out. I don't trade this one a whole lot. I do trade it, but I actually trade it on even the higher time frames just because of how much it can get ranging. Shamak, no, I don't always use a 2 hour and 15 minutes. I'm just using them as examples here today for what we're working on. Oh, I forgot. I have to save this one. Two-hour settings, perfect. Boom. Let's go on to the 15-minute now. And then we just adjust the settings, see what happens. You know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to try something crazy. I'm going to put this to 80, which is obscene, and I'll bring this to 50. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? 15-minute chart. Now, I don't have all my highs and lows, but that high went really well. That low is not bad. Let's see if we can build from here. Maybe we can find a new way to set the Lux up for success. You never know. So that's 80. Let's try 60. See what happens. Yeah, that got it better. 60. Let's try 40. Yep. Actually, the 40 moved this strong signal away from the high, I think. Ah, man, it's actually kind of annoying with those overlays, so I'm just going to get rid of them for the time being. Let's go back to 60, see what it did. Yeah, so 60 actually got that strong signal earlier. Let's see if I can drop down. It does. Yeah, Melissa, you're right. It does look like swing trading a little bit. And I'm sure, like, again, there's no right setting. It's beautiful. The tool is absolutely amazing. Whatever your style is, there is going to be a setting that's going to help you. So if you're a swing trader, this might be what you need to do. Set sensitivity up to 60. Agility, maybe this needs to be 20. I don't know. Let's try it. See what happens. Look at that. Boom. 60 and 20. I got even closer to my highs and lows. Let's try 10. What happens? Boom. Got even closer. So that tells me that the lower the sensitivity for this, is going to be better. Let's try 55. Yeah, actually, that would have got me out of a false signal. See, look at that. It's still bringing me down to closer though. So there I got a few noisy signals, but they're not bad. I'm zoomed out quite a ways too. Got to take that into consideration. And I'm on the 15-minute chart. And it's the pound Swissy. But look at that beautiful setup, right? But see, I'm not a fan of this, right? Because it's crossing back over top of my SMMA so many times. It'd be impossible to manage that, right? But I mean, if you're trading the 2 hour or the 1 hour, let's try the 2 hour. Yeah, see, that's beautiful, right? That's what we saw there, I think. Is that right? Nope, that's actually right here. So this is at 2:30 in the morning, starting on the 22nd. Yeah, there it is. So I would, yeah, and this is why I don't trade the lower time frames on the pound Swissy, is because we go back to that 15-minute, and maybe you just got to adjust how you do it. If you're trading the 15-minute, it makes sense to me that you would want to catch all of this, right? But the way that I trade with my smooth moving average, I would have been taken out. That's why I like to trade the longer time frame when I see this kind of thing happen. It's cutting off my trade. I could have caught this whole thing, right? Now then some people say, well, maybe you just need to increase your smooth moving average. Right. Well, then I might as well just trade the 2 hour chart. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I could bring the smooth moving average up, and then that would keep me in that trade for a longer time. I would probably get out here, maybe re-enter here. You know, that's an option. But I mean, my mentality is if I'm going for that long of a trade, I should probably be trading the 2 hour chart anyways. 15 minutes charts, you know, if I'm in a 15-minute, if I'm trading the 15-minute and I'm in there longer than 6 hours, I probably could have just went with a 2 hour chart. But again, it all depends. It all depends on your style. There are opportunities like this one here would have been great. Let's just see what the rest of the Lux indicators would have told us about this entry. So this was back on the 20th of October. Oh, this is the 15-minute chart. See, there we go. We've got, this is an entry because we crossed the smooth moving average after coming out of the reversal band. However, it would have taken me out for sure because my ATR is only 134. So yeah, that would have taken out my entry. But then here, this is actually beautiful because the ATR is so much lower. And that is an entry according to my rules. Nope, volatility is too low. Never mind. Is that right? Yeah, see, and this is why I don't like the 15-minute chart on pound Swissy, because with my strategy, this is an entry and I would have been taken out. This is another entry, but my volatility was low. This is another entry, but my volatility was low. So you have to take that. What about this one? Yeah, volatility was still too low, only because of the tiny little candles there. So there are just a lot of things to take into consideration. Again, this purpose of the video here is just to get the signals to be close to the top, to the highs and lows. So which we have accomplished. We have accomplished that. On the 15-minute, let's see. Yeah, sensitivity is at 42 right now. Let's see what happens if I bring it down to 20. So now there's more noise, right? Which can be helpful, especially since this trend, got a reversal a little bit, like it took us out. But having that strong signal as a continuation can be very, very helpful. So, that's not bad that there's extra noise in the signals, because we haven't taken away from the closeness of the trades, like how close to the highs and lows we got. So I'm at 20 and 7 at the moment. 20 for sensitivity, 6 for agility, and I don't see much of a difference in what's happening. So, that might be a good setting there. Let's see what happens if I bring it down to where I normally am operating, like around 14, 13, and 2. Shamak, I'm going to be here until I've gone through all my pairs. Or if you guys give me some more requests, I'm happy. We got gold coming up next. And you are very, very welcome. I'm happy to help out. So yeah, on a 15-minute chart, actually, this isn't bad. We've got good, the noise isn't, to me, that's not annoying because these are good continuations. If I saw the noise was inside a consolidation area, I'd be a little annoyed, but that's not bad. And what I would do if I was trading this one, is I would bring up my SMMA a little bit just to give me that extra little bit of wiggle room on the trends, because it seems to like to cut out the SMMA fairly frequently, actually. So, and the SMMA, that is my exit line, right? So it would require some adjusting, right? Because that's what I use as an exit. So that's a little bit better. It's not my entry, so I don't mind if it's drifting away from the price action. I actually want the price action to stay within the SMMA. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. And then that helps out. So longer SMMA on a 15-minute pound Swissy, and entries are the same, and they're not bad. This one might have been annoying to be in because I don't know if it would have been enough. No, that wouldn't have taken. Drawdown wasn't bad, so you might have stayed inside that trade and continued riding it down. Yep. Do I follow the SMMA to know the main trend? I don't. I'm actually following the shape of the EQ. So if the EQ is, if the green line, my leading edge of the EQ is on top, I'm in an upward trend. If the EQ is flipped, where the green edge is on the bottom, then it's a downward trend. That's how I identify trends. Yeah, that's how I identify trends. My smooth moving average is my exit point. So if I'm in a trade and I cross that, so like for instance, we've got a trend here, right? Here's the trend. There's a crossing that I probably would have exited because, oh no, I wouldn't have exited because I didn't have strength in the bulls when it crossed. So I would have stayed in it and it would have kept on going. Here's another crossing. Strength is in the bulls, but then there's a continuation right after that. So I could have exited there because it crossed my small moving average, and then it crossed back down underneath again with a strong signal. So I would have re-entered. Oh no, actually, you know what? I might not have exited the trade because my volatility was low. I don't make choices. I do not make trade decisions when my volatility is so low like that. So I would have stayed in. Here, that probably would have constituted a trailing stop loss just because of how big of a spread that was. Likely, yeah. But then you can continue because we're still in a downward trend according to that EQ. So you could have had another re-entry, maybe not on that candle because of how that's clearly bankers just trying to take some money. But then here is another entry that's a continuation trend right there. And it's nice too. Volatility is nice. So you would have caught some more there. again, based on my trading strategy, which re-enters the market because we crossed below that green line, the leading edge of the EQ. I hope that answers your question, Shamek. If you have more questions, definitely shoot me a message. That is it for the pound Swiss franc. Settings are 13 and 2, what I've liked the most out of all the things that I tried there. And we did a range of things. I started off at 80 and 60 or something like that. So now we're on to gold, my favorite. If anybody has any other requests, definitely pop it in the chat there. I want to make sure that you guys get your questions answered. I'm not going to save. No, you know what? I'll save it just in case. Boom. Let's go grab some gold, shall we? Fun fact, I also hold physical gold because I'm bullish on gold. Okay, cool. Those are some trades that I took this morning. On the 1 minute, let's open up this here, candles. Okay, so I found this to be really good, but I mean, again, I'm still playing with this, right? 8 and 17. Now that I've been practicing with it a little bit more, I just started fooling around with settings this morning. So I'm going to start off with 13 and 2 and just see what happens. Boom, what happens? Yeah, still really noisy. So let's bring it up. This is on scalping gold. I should probably find this setting properly. How in the world? Well, it's because, how did I make money this morning when my settings were all wonky like this? Well, it's because I don't actually use the signals as my entries. They're just nice to see. Yeah, and scalping gold. I might have to play around with this more, guys, because I'm not seeing. To me, that's a lot of noise in these signals. That's not bad. Let's see what happens if I bring up the numbers super high again. And they disappeared. Where did they go? Way down there. So that would be like for, if I was trading, if I was looking for entry points on a higher time frame, yeah, that could be used for different purpose, right? Because clearly that is for a much higher time frame setting. Even though I'm on the 1 minute, those signals are being very what's the word I'm looking for? They're clearly better for like probably a 15-minute chart or something like that. Good question, Shamek. I do not. When I'm trading, I will look at the daily time frame if I'm trading the 4-hour chart to make sure that I'm not trading against the trend. I'm also looking at the 2-hour chart, or when I look at the 4-hour chart, if I'm in the 1 hour or even 15-minute, 1 hour, and 2-hour charts, I'm looking at the 4-hour chart to make sure that I'm trading with the trend there, and so on. But when I'm trading, when I'm scalping, I do not look at other time frames. I don't have time. So I just trade the 1 minute chart and follow the trend of whatever it's doing in that moment. And I don't do too bad. I could probably, take a look at higher time frames on the 1 minute, but I don't. So again, it's looking to me like I got to bring down the sensitivity to find those highs and lows. Gold does have some odd shaped candles every once in a while, so But the process is the same. Doesn't matter what time frame I'm looking at. I'm always playing around with like I'm always using the same setup. Sensitivity, and then I bring in the agility to narrow in on it. Ooh, that's nice. 11 and 4. 11 and 3. Closer to the highs and lows. 11 and 2. Didn't make a difference. I do like the way that they've done this, guys. Like, they did a really bang up job. Oh, too many signals, I think there. Yeah. So 11 and 3 for gold on the 1 minute chart. I didn't expect to do a scalping one, but there it is. Oh, let's go save it. I already had one, but I know that that would have been different from what we just did. Okay, 15-minute on the gold. Yeah. 15-minute on the gold. Settings don't look too half bad, do they? Let's just see what happens next. Let's find an area here where it's not obvious. Hello, let's load this chart, shall we? There we go. I'm going to get rid of the bands, the overlays, because all those dots are in my way. Come on. None. There we go. Okay. Let's work our way up a little bit. See what happens. Yep, no, this is looking like it's going to be around the same, guys. 12, 13 moves away from the highs and lows. Man, this thing dials in nicely. It's not perfect, but nothing is ever going to be perfect. But that is nice. Look at that, 12 and 2 on the 15-minute chart for gold. And I've got really good, strong, like really good, solid high and low signals. Really nice. Tiziano asks, what's the correlation between your strategy and Lux Algo signals? I mean, in your strat, you looks only at other indicators for entry and exit that doesn't changing sensitivity and agility. That's right. So I was mentioning it earlier too, and maybe you're new to the stream, but about an hour ago, I was probably close to an hour ago, I was talking about how I don't actually use Lux signals as my entries. I like having them displayed because they're kind of like a peace of mind. Or sometimes they can be helpful for me to avoid bad trades. That was the biggest thing for me in Lux. I was running at about 50% accuracy when I first started using Lux, using the strategy that I've been showing you. Now, with good money management, you can make money at 50%. I know some people who are only accurate 20% of the time, but their money management allows them to still profit. So 50% success is not bad. But what Lux helped me do was actually avoid bad trades. I don't think I found more opportunities to enter the market using Lux with my strategy, but I definitely found ways to avoid bad trades using Lux. So that's what has helped me a lot. So I will, if there is something going on and it's a brand new strong, and I've got an indication telling me that I can go up, I don't go in because, well, that's clearly probably not going to be a good trade. Now, when I'm scalping, I don't do it that way, but yeah, like trust it, guys. It's a good system. So yeah, 12 and 2. I got some highs and lows. I hope that answers your question, Tiziano. If it doesn't, let me know. How do I use Lux indicators for confluence and the oscillators? Okay, good question. I don't. actually use the oscillators. I don't look for confluence with the oscillators. I recognize that it's there, and I'm not opposed to people who use it, or I'm not opposed to using it at all. But I don't trust it as reliable as my other indicators. I use the oscillator for avoiding a bad trade again. So if the color changes or the oscillator has pinched off and looks like it's going to go the other way, I don't enter the market. For example, if I'm going up and my oscillator is showing just a little bit of red, then I will not go in. If I'm going up and it's still showing green, even if it's old, I used to just be like, oh, that's an old oscillator, I'm not going in. But I have missed way too many trades doing that. So if my indicators are showing positivity, I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna run with it, even if the oscillator has an old trend showing. So yeah, I hope that helps. Door, pleased to meet you. Glad you could come on board. Now I'm going to add on the Lux stuff here. This is the gold USD on the 15-minute chart. I'm just going to add the other layers and just make sure that my entries and such are happy. Hey, does someone want to go into the Lux channel and tell Time Traveler to get onto this mainstream or this mainstream? Bring him into this stream here, and I will answer that question for him. I will show him exactly how to set up alerts on Lux. If someone wants to go in there and just get Time Traveler to come join us here. Just make sure my entries are happy on the 15-minute. Yep. Good there. Gold is quite something because I find that I can actually enter against the trend on gold and still win. Coming out of the reversal zone there, we've got 3. Yep. So my drawdown would have been happy. That would have been great. 9-hour trade, 11 pips. Keep your money management, folks. Always keep your money management. You can make a lot of money just by having good money management. And all I'm doing, I'm scanning. I put my crosshair on things, and I just scan my entry zones just to make sure that my indicators are lining up nicely. I'm not doing a full back test. I'm just making sure that my colors are good. So that one didn't really work out, and I'm just going to adjust my strength histogram a little bit. It's because we're on the 15-minute chart, right? So it's just a little bit jagged. I need to smoothen it out, I think. Yep, that's all I needed to do. So we have a crossing right there. And volatility was low, so that would have kept me out of that trade. So I'm okay with that. Volatility was low, so that would have kept me out. What about this one? Right there. Volatility was just below. So I would have missed out on that one, but that's okay because this one is probably a better entry anyways. 2.31. Yep. So my drawdown would have been acceptable. And that would have been in 3 hours, 9 pips. Or $9 rather. That's 90 some pips. Okay, cool. Any other questions? Let's go to the 2 hour. I've got 12 and 2 on the sensitivity and agility for gold USD. I don't know if someone was able to get a hold of a time traveler. Oh, let's go to 2 hour and do the same thing. Let's get this thing set up properly on the 2 hour. Now, guys, this gold does this, right? This is actually why I like scalping gold. It's because of how, like, look at this. Bang! That candle had massive range to it. You know, that's like, that's a lot. That's a lot of range to it in total. High and low is $67 in one 2 hour candle. That's why I like scalping it, because you can't account for that. And they're just there to, those candles are there to take you out. That's what they're there for. If you want to learn about why I know that, I will show you charts that will blow your mind about how bankers manipulate the markets, and that's exactly what that is. I very seldom trade gold on the 2 hour. I'm doing scalping, or I'll trade like the 4 hour or even the day chart on gold. Yep, so that's good entry. Actually, this would have been the entry. Yep. These are nice continuation trades. Look at that nice long upward trend. Ooh-wee. Yeah, you just take the continuations on some of these 2 hour candles and you'd be golden. Okay, let's get the settings down and make sure that we're happy with those. That makes it more sensitive. Actually, you went a little bit less sensitivity, because this sell, we didn't need to see that. That trend is nice and solid. So yeah, there we go. We got rid of that noise. And I'm going to bring it down until I see. There we go. Just adjusting this one. This is the 2 hour chart for gold USD. Okay, I'm going up a little bit high and I'm not seeing much change. So I might bring it back down, because I saw this. Yeah, okay, so there we go. So 16 and 8. And I can avoid the noise and have good signals, highs and lows. In some of these areas, the movement was a little bit smaller. And so based on those ATRs, that changes how those strong and how those buy and sells show up. So I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. Yeah, beautiful. Now I'm just going to double check some of my entries. $777th, eh? Well, thank you. We should celebrate. Yeah, that's good entry. Let's see what happened here. Nope, I have strength in the bulls still, or bears rather, in that particular candle. So I would want to see this one, which is a better entry anyways, because there would have been no drawdown. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with this. So 16 and 8 on the 2 hour gold chart. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Any other recommendations, guys? We went through all of our requests. If if you have any others that you want to work on. Otherwise, if there are no other requests, I'm staying on here, guys. I am staying on this stream until I've gone through all of my, well, maybe not all of my pairs. What time is it? Oh yeah, 4:30. So I'm probably not going to get through all my pairs, but I will be working faster now that we've gone through this. If someone has questions, I'll take time to pause, but watch me work. Watch me work. If you have any questions, shoot me a message, private message me. I'm more than happy to help you guys out and get you set up. I've got a link. You know what? Actually, I'm going to do this. I have a link, guys, and that link is where you can book a time with me. There it is. I'm going to put it in the chat here. How do I pin a message or pin a, can I do that? Can I pin a comment? Doesn't look like it. No, it doesn't look like I can. I tried. Stressed? Yeah, the time with me is free, guys. Time with me is free. Oh, sweet. My other software that's helping me stream actually shows comments as well. That's cool because what it does is how long have I been streaming, guys? How long have we been doing this? Hour 32. Cool. Put it in my live stream description. Well, now you are asking a lot. This is the first time I've done a live. Oh, here we go. Description. Book a time with me to go over your charts. There we go. Cool. Thanks for that. I put it in the description now. Okay, let's go back to the charts because there was a recommendation to go for Australian Jippy. Let's go to it. Is it in here? Australian USD. Jippy is over here, I think. Yep. Australian Jippy. Let's start with the 2-hour chart. We're going to just get rid of, oh, you know what? I got to replace the volatility. There we go. And let's get candles up here so you guys can see better. And let's look at that, guys. Coming right out of the gate. Oh, no, I'm still in 5.9. But look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. The signals. Do I even want to change them? Yes, because we'll probably find them again. Lux, bye-bye. We're going to bring up 3.0. There we go. Well, look at that, guys. It's even better because it's catching these ones. My last settings didn't do that. And then we're doing Australian, New Zealand, and Australian pound. You got it, man. Let me just write it down because I might forget that. Okay, look at that. It's beautiful. 14 and 7 right out of the gate looks beautiful on these trends, doesn't it? Beautiful. Okay, let's just see if we can get the settings even better because these guys have done a great job with 3.0, I tell you. Oh yeah, so that adds some noise. But while it adds some noise, I'm seeing a better high signal here and a low signal there. So I'm going to keep going. 12, 11. So 11 actually moves it to even greater extremities, but it does give me a little bit of that. So I'm going to bring my agility down. Oh. It is actually doing it. This is tight, guys. You compare this chart to how we started. Wow. Look at this, 11 and 2. I'm on the 2-hour chart for Australian yen, and I have sensitivity set to 11, agility set to 2. Woo. There's 1, and it does even better. What does agility 0 do? Oh, adds a little bit and moves it. Oh, wow. This is amazing. So this pair on the 2-hour loves 11 and 0 for agility. Ooh, wow. David Leslie, I hope you are enjoying this because this is your Australian jippy and it seems to be pretty hot. I'm just going to try. What happens if I bring down sensitivity node? Oh, it moved it even closer to the highs and lows. I love the Australian currency. Like it's so consistent. It's beautiful. That's the beauty one right there, guys. So I've got it. You can go 9 or 10, doesn't matter. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You've got some signals that move away from the high and low, and then some that go closer depending. Oh yeah, see, but I don't like 9. I like 10 because 9 brings a little bit too much noise. Whew, my goodness, that is one hot algorithm. Got some ranging here. The contrarian signals, I haven't gotten into a lot of that yet, but apparently it helps you stay out of consolidation areas. My trading strategy also keeps me out of those bad areas as well. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, so that is the Australian yen 2 hours. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Oh no, I didn't put up my bands and stuff. Hang on, guys. I got to see them and then just quickly check my entries and then we'll be good to go. Moving on to the next. Moving on to Australian and New Zealand. Volatility was good, but that is in a consolidation. See, guys? So when it consolidates like this, we got up, down, and we stay within that range for a while, right? So here is where I would have lost because I would have entered. No, I wouldn't have actually. I have strength in the. Nope. That would have been an entry, and I would have lost. And then I would have waited, and I would have saw that I was staying within a new range. And so this would have turned out to be consolidation area. And my rule is I need to close outside of that before I start trading again. And that's how I avoid losing in that area. But yeah, use whatever works for you guys. So that's a 2 hour. Let's move on. I think I'm pretty happy with these entries. Let's see what happens here. 164. Yeah, so actually that drawdown is not bad. So I would have taken that trade. My drawdown would have come down, but I would have been okay with that drawdown. Is that right? What is this one? Yeah, I would have been okay with that drawdown. And it would have been nice. Long trade. Probably would have stopped out here. Yeah, my trailing stop would have hit here. So that would have been, in total, 173 pips. Let's see what happens in here. Oopsies. We didn't actually, did we? Yeah, we closed inside there. So this would have been another entry, possibly. Nope, volatility was too low. This is an entry. Volatility was sufficient. Drawdown was acceptable. And that would have been a nice, yeah, that would have been nice. 77 pips over day and 10 hours. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. Let's move on. I can now save this as my Australian yen 2-hour chart with the correct settings. And we're moving on. Let's bring up to 15. Or did we do 15 minutes already? David, thank you. I'm glad that you told me that we need to do the 15. I couldn't remember whether or not we did it yet. There we go. All right. So clearly these settings are not going to work for the 15-minute. I can see that right off the bat. We can get far better signals out of this. So I'm going to start off by bringing it up to 20 and 10. And then we bring it downwards to get us close to the tops, like the highs and lows. But then we have some noise. So then I bring down the agility. And maybe that doesn't bring down the noise, but it certainly brings the signals closer to the highs and lows, which I'm glad. That's what we're after. Okay, I'm actually good with that. 14 on the sensitivity. And I think, yep, that brings up way too much noise. So 14 and 5. So this is the Australian yen. 14 for sensitivity, 5 for agility, and I'm happy with that. Now we just double check my entries to make sure that that stays consistent. Ooh, that's close. That drawdown would have made me nervous, that's for sure, but the next entry would have been fine, I think. Let me just see. Yep, I would have been able to come in the next entry if I would have closed out at that point, which is about 2% of my. I would have lost 2%, but then came right back in again, and yeah, would have came right back in again and got 36 pips out of that. Let's just go see another entry here. Got this one, goes in, and then we've got crossing above the SMMA, 82. Yep, acceptable drawdown, and a nice, that is nice actually. It's really nice. Callum, how do I enter the trade? I want to make sure that I'm understanding your question. I execute with MT4. I do not execute my trades with TradingView, and the reason why is because the brokers that work with TradingView do not allow Canadian customers. So I use MT4 to enter my trades. And that might not be what you meant. I hope that answers the question. Let me know if I did not answer that correctly, or if it was not helpful. Okay, so that would have been, what would have happened here? How would have I looked at this one? This would have been 50 there. So was that successful? Yes, it was. Oh, so what's my signal? Oh, okay. So my signal when I'm trading, if you wanted to check out my channel, I've got a video where I'm showing how I would scalp gold. That video there is probably my best one. I think it's my most viewed video. And it shows what my entries and my exit is. But very briefly, I can tell you that I'm checking for an entry when my price action crosses the leading edge of the equalizer band. So that leading edge of the equalizer band, I've painted green. And I've done so by going into the style and going to cloud 2. So I paint it green. And that way I can see what that front edge is. I hope that that helps. Maybe, and let me know if that is what's answering your question. Again, I check when it crosses. I check other things, like I check my strength to make sure that I have the strength to support it, and a volatility to make sure that I'm not that there's enough movement in the market. And then I just glance at the oscillator to see whether or not we have a to make sure that I haven't changed colors or that I'm might be going the other way. So there's an entry right there, and it was not bad. My trailing stop might have hit here, 226 to 37. What was my ATR that time? Yeah, so my trailing stop would have stopped out in this area down there, and but I still would have had 37 pips in 8 hours. 15-minute chart, Australian yen. Cool, Callum. I'm glad I could answer that for you. If you have any questions, or if you want to book a time with me, I've got a link up in the comments there, and I got also the link in the description. What is this button here? Oh, add stream marker. Yeah, I don't want that. Okay. Yeah, let's save this. I'm happy. Jippy, 15 minutes. Okay, cool. That's an entry. 5, 6. Yep, and that would have been a nice take profit. Here's an entry. Indicators check out, even though my oscillator's old. My indicators do check out this 15-minute 60. Yep, and that would have been like a 3-to-1, almost 3-to-1. It's beautiful. This is an entry, I believe. Nope, I got strength in the bears still, so I would not have entered. This is an entry. Would have been a quick one. 47. Yep, I would have profited. I would have taken profit on that one, but it was quick. This one here is a trade that I would have taken. 58. My drawdown is acceptable there. And I would have eventually profited. Yep. I might have closed out actually if I. Right there, right? Is that what I said? I might have closed out on this candle. But What's next here? Where did we cross next? This one? Did we cross that one? 554. What? Wait a minute. No, this one. 554, 555. No, I wouldn't have. That one I would have crossed below. Indicator says that that's a good trade. 62. My drawdown would have been acceptable. And yep. That'd have been nice. I probably would have stopped out in here somewhere. Yep. So I would have got 34 pips in 6 hours. Okay. Cool, guys. I think that's pretty much it for Australian yen. I'm happy with my entries, and they are lining up well with my indicators. So we're going to go on to Australian New Zealand dollar. Australian New Zealand dollar. Doesn't look like I have it up. So let's go get it. I was a little bit disorganized the last couple of weeks just because the way Lux was updating so fast, I couldn't keep up. Hey, if someone wants to go let Bing know being in Lux channel, just let him know that we're live here, and we're going over how to set sensitivity and agility on anything. We already did gold, but you know, he might gain some benefit from this as well. Okay, let's get rid of the old Lux. Let's put in the new one. Oh, this is the 1 minute chart. Let's go 15 minute. Let's start with that one. My volatility, got to replace that one because their new volatility one is better. And it works. Okay. Now let's bring up good old Lux. There we go. This doesn't look bad, does it, guys? Let's see what we can get if we can get closer. 14 and 7 does seem to be a good spot to start from, and then work your way from there. Look at that, already too much noise for my liking. I would prefer not to have those, I don't think. Let me see. Oh, let me see. Yeah, so 14. And then I'll just bring down the agility and see if I can get closer to the tops and bottoms. And that brings in some noise. Yep, no, I'm actually okay. 14 and 7, guys. This is ranging, so there's going to be signals all over the place. And that's just how it goes sometimes. Yep, like these are nice. These just line up really, really well. Okay, now I'm just going to add on my overlay and check my entry points to make sure that they coincide well. Again, this is the Australian New Zealand dollar on the 15-minute chart. That's an entry. This one is an entry. Let's just see what it says it is. Nope. Not there, right there. Volatility is barely, nope, it's not. 15-minute chart, I need to see 30% volatility, so I would not have entered on that one. And that is okay because it actually ended up reversing in the short term anyway. So we crossed below right here, I think. Close 8068. 8068. Yep. Or 69. So that's an entry right there. Oh, sorry guys, went to bars again. So used to that. So that's an entry right there, and it worked out on every level. Beautiful. Would have got stopped out by a trailing stop in there. 14 hours, 54 pips. Here's another entry, possibly. Nope, volatility wasn't high enough. What about this one? Volatility not high enough. What about this one? Volatility is high enough. Crossing, going up. Everything else looks good. 53. Boom. Would have got my probably almost 4% on that one. All right, so here we have a strong signal crossing that line. Everything else looks good. My rules state that I would enter this trade. 74 drawdown is acceptable, and we would have won. But it definitely went into a ranging time there for quite a few hours, 7 hours. It went ranging for a while. I might not be entering at this time. Oh yeah, no, I would enter 8:45 a.m. my time. That's not bad. All right, so there we have Australian New Zealand dollar set to 14 for sensitivity and 7 for agility. I'm going to go ahead and save this bad boy. Anybody tired? Do I still have people on? No, nobody's even watching right now. That's okay. It's still a stream. It's still going, and I will be continuing on because people can still watch it after I'm done. Going to go to the 2-hour chart now on the Australian New Zealand dollar. Oh, David's still here. It's interesting. YouTube says that I don't have anybody else watching right now. Nobody's watching, but you're here. So there we have it. Maybe it shows. Oh yeah, no, it shows on this software. I've got a second software that's actually providing the stream because I'm thinking about doing a simulcast where I stream to both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. And this software tells me that there are 11 people watching. So I'll go by that one since you say that you're in. YouTube says you're not. What is this line doing here? Don't want it. 2-hour chart, Australian New Zealand dollar. Let's see if we can get this one dialed in. And it might not even get changed at all. Sometimes that happens. 13. Yep, actually 13 is better. So is 12. 11 is better. Ooh, 10. 10 does bring some of the signals closer to the highs. It adds some, but I'm okay with that. 9, even better. 8, even better. 7. Oh, let's go back again. Added some noise, but it brought even closer. Look at this, guys. I'm okay with the noise because I got these ones even closer to the tops and bottoms at the same time. 6. Nope, now that's too much noise. So 7, and let's check out agility. No, that's it. So 7 and 7, guys. I like it. 7 and 7 on Australian New Zealand dollar. Now I'm just going to go back and check my entries and make sure that everything checks out. $169, that's acceptable drawdown, and we would have won. Here's a crossing. Make sure everything else checks out. Nope, I've got to increase my smoothing, I believe, on my absolute histogram. Yep, that's exactly what I needed, maybe 4. Yep, so 4. 3 is too low. Yep, 3 is too low. I need it to be at 4. So 10 and 4 on my absolute strength histogram. And that gets me a better entry there. And here, what's this one like? Let's see what the drawdown would have been, because I crossed. That's a signal. That's my trade rules say that I need to enter the market here. 186. What does it say? 186. Yep, my drawdown would have been nerve-wracking, but I would have been acceptable. No, not really nerve-wracking. I might have just let that go because it was in consolidation, lost my volatility, and when I don't have volatility, if I'm in a trade and I don't have volatility, I do not make a choice. I wouldn't make a choice if I had no volatility. If I was out of the market and I didn't have volatility, I wouldn't be going in. Therefore, if I'm in a trade and I lose volatility, I do not make a choice to leave. I keep it going. And it ended up playing out well for me. Well, if I was in. Obviously, that's a rudimentary back test. What is this one? Is this an entry? Nope, that is not an entry. But is this one? It technically is, but because that's clearly a banker's candle, I probably would have ignored it. 2 hour, yeah, I probably would have ignored that one. Come back in over here maybe. Yeah, that's the one we just talked about, having the drawdown, but it ended up working out for me. Okay, cool. Let's test another entry. $132. Drawdown was okay. That's all right. And I would have definitely got it. Let's find another sketchy area here. Let's see what this one does. Look at that. So that's an entry, except for the fact that for whatever reason, and I don't know how, but my absolute strength histogram would have saved my butt from entering that trade. That's an entry going up. That would have been a long entry if I didn't have that absolute strength histogram to confirm. Isn't that amazing? But then the very next one, on the candle close, I would have had strength in the bears, and that is another entry. Boom. Oh my goodness, I love this. I just got to go back, guys. I feel like I'm kind of lost because I can't see the comments all of a sudden here. I don't know where they went. Oh, there we go. David, I'm grateful. Thank you. That's a huge compliment. I'm humbled by that, actually. You had Lux for 2 months, learned more in the last 2 days. I really appreciate that. Thanks. I'm pretty happy. I've got some good settings here. This looks like an entry that I would have lost on this one, I think. Yep, I probably would have, because my volatility was enough. I would have entered this trade 192. Yeah, I wouldn't have profited enough. But I probably would have saw this exit point. Yeah, my exit would have been there, and I would not have lost everything on that one. Probably only 1.5% instead of a full 3%. That's the thing. My indicators are so darn good that if I'm in a bad trade, I can usually close it before I can notice that I'm going to lose before I actually hit my stop loss, and I minimize my losses. So that's probably most of the time. Most of the time, that's the case. Watched your setup video last night in gold scalp video. Oh, sweet. Awesome. Thanks, David. Yeah, it's this strategy, it doesn't seem to be like a lot of people use it. Every once in a while I come across people and they use the same strategy, maybe different indicators, but yeah, it's nice. It's a nice stressless way. Like I don't have any stress when I'm trading. Just looking to see here if this is a valid continuation. Yeah. So there's a continuation trade right there, and it looks good. My indicators are happy with it, and I would have won. Nice. Over a day and a half, 2 days almost. That would have been a nice trade. David, I'm going to write it down. We have yet to go through Australian pound. USD Jippy, I'll put that one down as well. But I do have Australian pound as the next one that we're going to work on, as a matter of fact, because we've gone ahead with Australia, New Zealand. Yeah, I did 15-minute. So now we're on to odd New Zealand to hour. There we go. Let's go get the Australian pound. And I wonder if it's actually up in here. No, that will be that one. It might be in here. Australian pound. Nope, I got to put it into this list. And for some reason, the US 30 got slammed into my Aussie layout here. No, odd pound. You know what? I'm wondering if it's actually pound odd. Yep, that's what I would actually show up on my broker. Okay, Australian pound, or the pound Australian. Let's get the different candles here for you so you can see better. Let's open up. This is on the 1 minute. I got to change that up because I wouldn't scalp this, I don't think. Maybe. I think my broker's got some bad spreads on that one, though. I don't know. Look at this 15-minute. Lots of consolidation happening right now as we speak. In fact, I would not be entering this trade until it closed outside of a fairly big range. Let's just put the lines up. So yeah, it's tempting. Looks like it might go up, but that's a consolidation range that I would not be playing around inside. Okay, let's get rid of 2.9 here and bring on some 3.0. Lux Algo. Right out of the gate, 14 and 7. I think I'm really glad that I saved 14 and 7 as my default because I'm so far liking how that plays. Let's bring her down and see if I can get closer to the highs and lows. Yep. Down to 12 now. A little bit of noise, so I'm going to bring down my agility. Get it closer. So 12 and 5. Otherwise, I start to, yeah, I get too much noise if I'm lower than 12 and 5. So 12 and 5 on the pound Australian dollar. Now, that being said, I am going to just test it out with my cloud, or my overlays rather. And just go see some of my entries and confirm that they're happy. I must be streaming. My computer is slowing down a little bit. That's an entry. Oh, my volatility. I forgot to bring my volatility one back. Volatility. There you go. There's a sell signal crossing the line. Actually, technically, because we were in here, this would have been my entry. Happy. No, I would have missed that because my volatility wasn't high enough. Let's try this entry. Volatility wasn't high enough. In 15 minutes, when I'm on the 15-minute chart, I like to see volatility above 30%. But I'm wondering, because now I'm looking at some of these entries here, and some of them would have been okay, even with low volatility. I might move it to 25% for this pair, guys. And that's the kind of thing you got to do. You got to look at your options. Look at that. Volatility is low, but it is above 25%, and that's an entry. So, yep, so that's going to make it. So I write this down. It's happened to me a few times. Some pairs are tolerant on the 15-minute chart. They're tolerant of lower volatility. A rule of thumb is that it's 30%, but I've been noticing I've missed opportunities when it has been above 25 but under 30. So GBP, Australian dollar, 15-minute allows for 25% volatility minimum. Okay. So look at that. On the fly, changing the rules of my trades. Next. Mm-hmm. 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 Yep. That's interesting. So we go into the band, we cross below the SMMA, but I would not enter until I leave the reversal band. But it's interesting because it actually jumps back up above the SMMA, leaves the reversal band again. That is my entry. And it appears, yep, strength and the bulls are gone. And so that would have been my entry. My drawdown, 175, would have been acceptable. And yep. And what's interesting is that drawdown doesn't even include a closed candle. My closed candles, like they still closed below. Well, that one didn't close below, but the wick was so long, I would have stayed in for sure. Yep. And away we go. 82 pips, 4 hours. do you, I have your volatility line set 30% and what high? Do you only worry about the 30%? You don't care if it's like 9? Yeah. I don't care if it is super high volatility. Not concerned about that at all. In fact, the higher the volatility, the happier I am. It's when I don't have volatility that I don't want to enter the market because I want to make sure that there's enough movement for me to justify calling it a trend. That's how I think about that. You didn't cross the leading edge of equalizer. In the example that I just shared here, that's correct. But there's two different types of entries that I have, and I hope this helps you out, David. Yes, I have an entry where it has to cross the leading edge of the equalizer, and that's that. And that was a good one. 196. Just check our drawdown. Ooh, yeah, no, that's still within tolerance, and we would have profited. So there's that entry. However, a second entry that I have is when it leaves the reversal band. That is one indication that, because it's called a reversal band, it's an indication of a new trend. When it crosses my smooth moving average, that's my confirmation that it's a new trend. So goes into the band, comes out. But as you can see, we came out, or we didn't come out of the band yet, and we were still, we weren't out of the band yet, even though we crossed below the SMMA. So that would not have been my entry. I would have waited to make sure that I was crossing below the SMMA and I was out of the band. So there we have it. There's my entry at exactly 3 a.m. That's if I was up. I probably would not have been up. But at 3 a.m. my time, that probably would have been great for you in Australia. And you would have had yourself a healthy 80 pips. So I hope that hands. Yep, understood. Okay, cool. No problemo, David. I'm just looking at other entries here to make sure that I would have been happy. That would have been a loss, but see, I would have entered here, coming out of the band, closing above my smooth moving average, 235. Oh, yeah. Look at that, 4-1. That would have been like a 10% trade right there. 3% times. Yep, that would have been almost, probably like 7%. Because my trailing stop would have brought me back down in this area here. Nice. I think this 15 minutes is ready to go. You know, everything checks out for me. Settings, indicators are happy. That one isn't, but that's okay. That one isn't because of the volatility. This signal is good. Volatility. Oh, Cheppy? Yeah, of course. I'm going to keep this up. I'm not taking this down. You guys are welcome to it as long as you want. It might be kind of boring to watch, but I am not going to take it down. It's going to stay up on YouTube. Coming out of the bands, make sure we have a good signal. Everything checks out. Good. Okay, let's move on to the 2-hour chart for the pound Australian dollar right after I save this one. Okay. Shamak, what is your strategy which you use Lux Algo? Oh, no, that's a great question, Shamak. I'm not going to go into great detail about my strategy. I'm touching base on it as I'm checking my settings here in this video. But if you wanted to check out my gold scalping video, you'll see it on my channel. If you want to check that out, it goes into greater detail of exactly how I build my strategy and what works. Go ahead, David. It sounds like you got something going on. What's happening? pound AUD, maybe pound AUD 15-minute on October 27th. October 27th. Let's go find it. October, that's 14. Yeah, welcome, Shamak. Glad to meet you. And hit me up in Discord, private message me. I also have a link there. You can book a time with me if you want. We'll go over your charts together and make sure that you're set up nicely. If you like the strategy. If you don't like the strategy, no hard feelings. People have to like it. Pound Australian. I'm on Pound Australian 15-minute, 13.15 today. You know, I really wish that I could identify what that is. I don't know what the time zone difference would be. How many hours ago was that, David? Tell me how many hours ago that was. Adam, great question. I do it because I like to see, I don't use them as entries. I use them as like comfort. So, and I also use them as avoidance. So if I'm thinking, because I have had many times where I have a signal that says, yeah, it's time to enter. And Lux will actually stop me from going in, thankfully. So I like to see the accuracy on all of the pairs because I want to make sure that I avoid the bad trades as well. And also, full disclosure, I have Asperger's, and so I get really, really over detailed sometimes, and there's a limitation to that. I probably don't have to get that detailed, but I do because I have saved a lot of bad trades as a result of Lux and their signals. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's why. That's why I do it. 10 hours ago. Okay, 11 Eastern on 27, the 27th, 11 a.m. Eastern. That would be 9 a.m. my time, right there. All right. So for me, this is not an entry for me. It could be a continuation trade in some cases, but I wouldn't. My entry would have been back here, I believe. Let me just think about this. Yeah, looks like that would have been my entry. Now it just turns into, okay, so 126 is my ATR. I would have doubled it to 254. So my drawdown would have been acceptable. And it would have turned out to be a pretty good trade. I probably would have had my trailing stop take me out in here. Yeah, from here, my trailing stop would have taken me out. So I probably only would have got about 1.5, maybe 2% profit out of that trade. When I'm on the 15-minute chart, I trade 1-to-1, just because I've been spanked hard sometimes trying to get greedy, getting 2-to-1 or even 1.5-to-1. I've been spanked. What time was that at? It's a good question, David. Let me go back to that. My entry would have been at 3 a.m. my time. That is 5 a.m. Eastern, which, if I do my math correctly, you're saying that is, no, wait a minute. Yeah, no, that's correct. 13:15 is 10 hours. So we're at a 10-hour difference between you and me, it seems. You are 10 hours. Oh, wait. Yeah, you are. No, wait a minute. What time is it there right now? Let's just do this the fast way, shall we? There, see, there's my Asperger's. I overthink things. Type in the time that you have right now, and then I will know exactly what the time difference is, because it's interesting to me and it will help me communicate better. So you're set at Eastern. Okay. So at Eastern, 11 o'clock Eastern, let me just double check that. 11 o'clock Eastern is a little bit late for my end. Like I would not have entered at that time. There is 11 o'clock Eastern. It is a continuation trade. No, it's not, because I didn't have strength in the bulls. Yeah, I do not have strength in the bulls, and so I would not have entered at 11 o'clock Eastern. But my entry, if I was awake for it, which by my calculation, you would be by my calculation, this would have been during the day for you. This entry at 3 a.m. my time, 5 a.m. Eastern. That was an entry, and it worked out. However, also take into consideration that if I would have saw this, I would not have entered at all, because I have seen since the 26th. Well, yeah, let's just go back to here. Like, look at how long this was consolidating. It's still in consolidation, like almost 2 days of consolidation. So for me, even though that this would have been an entry, I would not have entered. I hope that helps. I'm going to widen this. Maybe I can get it wider in the screen. What does that work out to be? No, it doesn't. It doesn't look like it takes up more of the screen, but that's fine. That is fine. All right. Did we do? We did the 2 hour as well, right? I think. Australian. No, that's the pound Australian. 2 hour pound Australian 15-minute. Yep. So we've done both of those. No, we haven't done the 2 hour on pound Australian yet. So let's do 2 hours. At least I don't think we did. I didn't save it anyway. Pound Australian 2 hour. Yeah, the last time I saved it was back at 2.8. So we're going to do it. Dun, 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 dun. And let's get our settings here. Let's get rid of this. Oopsies. None. Pound, yeah, we're going to do the 2 hour on this one right now. Shamik, yeah, that's the one. Dumb trading strategy on gold. That's the video that talks about my strategy. Okay. Let's get our settings. Let's dial this in. Going to start off at 14 and 7. Bring down the sensitivity. See if I can get closer to those highs and lows. So far, added a little bit of noise there, but I'm okay with it. Too much noise. So I'm going to go back to 11. And now I'm going to bring down my agility, see if I can get closer to the highs and lows. Down to 5. Now 4. And I think that that's about as far as I'm going to go, because I see some noise now. 3. Yeah, no, I'm just going to go with 4. Or maybe 5. Man, it's really personal preference there. I don't like 4 because I see some of the signals are fake. Like they're not fake, but they signals, and then it like slams back in the other direction right away. So 5, I'm going to keep it at 5. So 11 and 5. Shamek on Discord chat, you can find me in the Lux community. If you're part of the Lux Algo community, that's where you can find me. If you're not part of the Lux Algo community, you can join it for free and you can look me up. I'm in all of the chats there, even if you're on the free side. If you have the algorithm, you can just tag me. My nickname in there is Clauseus. Can I type something in here? Everything's really slow for me. I think the streaming is. My computer's like, you've been streaming for how long now? What do you think I'm going to do? You can find me in Discord with this username. I just typed it into YouTube there, so hopefully that works. Let's go back to this. So 11 and 5 on the 2-hour chart. It looks beautiful. I like it. Now I'm just going to double check my entries on with the indicators or the overlays. This is on the 2-hour chart for pound Australian dollar. And so far, I'm liking what I see. I'm going to go into this area here where there's a little bit of consolidation. Even though there's consolidation, I can see that the range is actually not bad, because if they take into consideration, I'm going to be trading my ATR times 2. So if my ATR times 2 is my stop loss and take profit, and it's ranging that far, I don't mind. I don't mind playing. It's when the range just goes drops down too low. That's what I don't like. So here's an interesting moment here in time. This is a sell. Nope, because I didn't have the strength. Look at that, guys. So this is technically coming out of the reversal band. I'm crossing below my SMA. That's telling me, hey, it's time to go into a short. But my absolute strength histogram saves the day, because I don't have strength in the bears. So no strength in the bears. I'm not going in. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then we have here, we crossed back below. Yeah, we actually crossed here, but I still had strength in the bulls, so that would have stopped me from entering. Then I go into here. There's a sell signal, strength in the bears. Volatility is low, though, so take that into consideration. Let's see what this does. Yep, volatility's up, strength in the bears. Does it cross below? 577. Yep, so that crosses below. That's an entry right there at 3 a.m. and 4:30. Yep, so my drawdown is more than sufficient, and my profit would have been more than sufficient. I would have got a good 2.5% on that one, probably. Going the other way in this area of possible consolidation, we got 378. I would have taken profit, I think. 378. Well, it depends on the broker. That would have just barely, if it took it would have just barely taken. And then here is another entry according to my rules. And it's going to be about whether or not there's enough movement. Nope. Okay, so seeing that, I would just stop. I wouldn't be trading again because I'm clearly in consolidation. Right there, there, bang, bang. And then it's been continuing that way for a while. Here is where it closed. No, it still didn't close below until way over here. Yeah. But the settings, I'm happy with the settings. 11 and 5 on the 2-hour chart for pound Australian dollar. And let's save this one up. Oh, wrong button. GBP, Aussie, 2 hour. And save. I have to go through the Lux setting again on the charts and save them. Yes, Shamek, that is true. You will need to with the new settings. And by the way, I am liking the 3.0 signals much more. Okay, good. You found me on Discord. Good stuff. Good stuff. I will check in with you after I'm done streaming. And we'll set up a time. If you want, you can book a time too. You'll see the link in the description, and you can do that. The setting for this one here is 11 on the sensitivity and 5 on the agility. That's for the pound Australian dollar on the 2 hour chart. Pound Australian dollar, 2 hour, and we are happy with 11 and 5. Okay, USD Jippy. Let's go find it. USD Yen. Good stuff, David. Did you book a time with me? Did you want to work your charts together? I'm more than happy to. Even though we're spending this time here, this is really just how to find those highs and lows with the signals. That's really the only purpose of this. And it was a #1 question that I saw in Lux today. And so I just figured, hey, why don't I just go stream this and how to do it? I do have to leave here in about an hour. So if you have any questions, let me know. But I'm just going to keep on working through these pairs by request to help people get their settings properly. I'm definitely not going to get through all of mine. That's okay, though. And volatility. There we go. Yep, we're good. Okay. Now let's bring up our Lux 3.0. And we're at 14.7 again. Let's go see what we can get this thing dialed in at. I have covered most of what you trade. Good stuff, David. I'm glad. Even if you don't book my time to actually sit down and trade together, or to set up your charts together, you can ask me questions. I'm all open. Just send me a message if you got quick questions that you know can be answered. I don't mind at all, guys. So 7, 11 for sensitivity. Let's see what we can do with the agility on this one. No, I'm not interested in getting those extra ones. Some of this is a little noisy. I'm going to try bringing the sensitivity up to get rid of the noise, because I would rather have less noise, especially on things with yen, because yen can get whippy. Things with yen can get a little bit crazy. Okay, so there, I actually prefer 16, just based on what I'm seeing so far. There's a little bit of ranging going on there. What is the agility and sensitivity like? What do they do when you change them? Good question. So we've been working today, Callum, on getting them to show up as close to the highs and lows as we can. So when we are adjusting the sensitivity going down, we are usually pushing them closer to the highs and lows. However, sometimes a lot of noise can happen where there's a lot of sell and buy signals inside the trend. We want to avoid that as much as possible. So I start the sensitivity off, depending on the pair, some 14, 20. I've been trying different things. Right now, my default settings are 14 and 7. And then what I do is that I just go from there, and I want to make sure that, yes, I'm at the highs and lows where my signals show up, but I also don't want it to be like this where there's extra noise showing up inside the trend like that, right? So I just bring up the sensitivity to get rid of the noise. 15 seems to be good. This is noisy, but I'm also this is ranging, so I don't count that. Like I don't consider my settings to be bad because we've got signals going both ways during this ranging area. I'm looking at the trends. So the actual trend from here to here. Do I have noise? No, I'm good. From here to here, do I have noise? Nope, I'm good. So whenever there's a trend, I want to make sure that I don't get faked out by Lux, right? Even here to here, you can see that that's good. Now that we've got these settings 15 and 7 on the 2-hour chart for the US yen. Now that we're good with that, I'm going to go ahead and put on the overlay. And what I do now that I've got the settings where I'm happy, with the overlay, I just go through, and for those of you that might be just joining us or maybe didn't catch me the first time, now that I'm happy with my settings, I just go ahead and quickly go back through my entry points, wherever my entry point might be. I just want to make sure that my other indicators are still happy with those. So here's, this one might be, no, that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, I would have actually lost this trade because we didn't actually take profit. So it came down. But see, there's the other thing. This is a 2-hour chart. I don't typically trade against the EQ on the 2-hour chart. There are some pairs that I can get away with it, but 2-hour chart with a yen, I'm not going to risk going against the trend. And I can see by the EQ that I'm in an upward trend now because the green line is on the top. So I flipped. This is a downtrend, clearly downtrend. So this entry would have been great because it was already started the downtrend and signals were good. Yep, signals were good. Volatility was low though, so I would have missed it. Yep, volatility was low on that one. But when things are like that, no, actually I wouldn't have. I still wouldn't have because there was this trading range here. So this consolidation area would have made me not take any trades until I see the price close out beyond it, and then I wait for the next signal. Caleb, thank you, Caleb. I look forward to chatting with you on Discord. Yeah. So this would have been a great entry. However, with low volatility, it would have prevented me from taking it. And yeah, you miss some opportunities, guys. You don't miss them. It is way better. Listen to this very carefully and take notes. It's way better to be outside of the market wishing you were in than inside the market wishing you were out. If I don't have the volatility to support the trend, I do not enter the trade. Now, what could happen is that I see that and I'm like, oh man, I broke out of that consolidation area. Then I'll probably go down to the 1-hour chart and just go see, okay, where am I at? So this is on July 23rd. Let's go see what July 23rd says. How do I go back to a date? July 23rd. Oh, that didn't take me too long. July 23rd. Yeah, so see, there it is. There's my signal to go and catch this trend. So the first candle would have been here, and then I would have looked for my next entry, which would have been right here. So I missed some of it, right? But here's a continuation. Would I have done that? Nope, probably not. No, I would have, because yeah, that's my downtrend. So my downward trend is there. Continuation right here. Boom. And that would have been, yep, that would have been nice. Probably 4%. So that's how I would have handled that specific area. Missing this, right? So because I missed that candle, because my volatility wasn't good enough, I would have zoomed in on the 1 minute or the 1 hour, or maybe even the 15 minute to see if I can catch something else. So far, my entries don't look too bad. This one here's, nah, but I wouldn't have entered there. Probably would have entered here. Is that right? No, volatility is too low. Volatility is too low. Volatility is too low, so I wouldn't have entered. Up here, volatility is sufficient. Did I actually cross it though? Did I? Close 180, and it did close above. So this one I probably would have lost. If I would have, I wouldn't have lost much. Maybe 1% instead of a full 3. And with the consolidation there, when the volatility went up and got this signal, I probably would have said, yeah, I'm out. Which configuration you use for intraday? I don't trade intraday, and not because it's wrong. It's just my trading style. I trade, well, and I mean, I guess it may turn out to be intraday trading sometimes, depending on the time frame. And what I do is that I, like what we're covering in this video, I just make sure that I'm happy with the settings of the sells and the buy signals from Lux Algo. And then I follow my indicators. So my indicators that I'm looking for entry, this is to answer Eduardo. I look for crossing of the leading edge of the EQ. When I see that, then I'm looking for confirmation that I actually have entry. So here, this goes up, but it's against the trend, so I would not have entered. I would have come back when we cross the smooth moving average going down. There we go. And that would have been a healthy, just see, 193, 496. So yeah, that would have been a nice 3%, almost 4% on that trade. For intraday, again, Eduardo, I highly respect people that want to do intraday trading. I'm a trend trader. So sometimes I'll go in and it ends up being an intraday trade, but I don't purposefully do it. It just, yeah. And what I would do is that I would just get the algorithm, the settings to be happy, not necessarily with an intraday trading strategy, but rather making sure that you get the strong, like the sell and buy signals as close to the highs and lows as you can. And then that way you can follow your other strategies for intraday trading within those trends. That's a recommendation. Again, follow your own style, personality, you know, your risk tolerance. All those things come into play when it comes to trading. And I don't do intraday trading as a like, I don't purposefully say I love intraday trading. I just trade the trends on all the time frames. There are some days where I have like 50 trades open because it just works out great. I've got, you know, some 4-hour trades. I got some 1-hour trades. I got some 15-minute trades. So it ends up being that I'm just taking trades all over the place because my signals tell me that those are the trends, even in those times, in those time frames. So I hope that answers your question. What volatility do I look for in the line entering the blue zone? Okay, so depending on the time frame, if I'm on the 15-minute chart with a yen, I'm going to want 30% because it can get crazy sometimes. So I want 30% volatility before I enter a trade on the 15-minute chart. When I'm on the higher time frames, anything 1 hour or higher, I don't mind trading with 25% minimum volatility. And again, that's just because it supports. There's enough movement to support there being a trend. That's why I do that. I do miss opportunities because I'm not taking trades when the volatility is low. Like there was that example earlier where it looked beautiful and I didn't take it. I think it was in here. Yeah. So this was beautiful, but I didn't take it because my volatility was low. You miss out on some of it, and that's okay. I just have seen too many times when the volatility is low and I have my entry that it doesn't work out. So I just leave it and wait for the next opportunity. And that's why I was saying, if I miss that, then I'll probably go into either the 1 hour or maybe the 15-minute and look for the next opportunity, the next entry. Cool. That's Australian yen. I'm happy with it. I'm going to save it. Whoops. USD, let's make sure USD yen. I have not saved it yet. And as you can see, I don't mess around with these too much. I used to, but I found some nice ones like 10 and 3, 6 here. I'll sometimes maneuver my strength histogram. It's usually just to give me a little bit less noise if I need it. So I'll bring this up to maybe 4 or 5. But I don't want it to be too much because I've had some false entries as a result as well. So 10 and 3 is my favorite settings. And sometimes I'll adjust the 10 to even down to 8 and as high as 12. But typically speaking, it sticks around right at 10. Yeah, okay, so let's go to the 15-minute chart on here. Yeah, David, you are my friend. You're making sure I stay on point. Yes, we're going to do the 15-minute. Great, and thank you for that because I sometimes can get distracted and not follow through with what I say I'm going to do. So thank you for reminding me. USD Jippy, that was 15.7 on the 2 hour. Yes, that was 15.7 on the 2 hour. I'm currently 15.7 still, but we're going to go and see what we can do to refine it on the 15-minute chart. Let's go check it out. Let's get rid of the dots. Okay, so I'm bringing it down from 14 until I see too much noise. Oh, wait a minute. That's not noise. Those are shifts, and they are. I'm happy with those shifts because they're closer to the highs and lows. That's noise now, and it doesn't really help me. So it looks like 13 is going to be the sweet spot. Let's just go back over to this area and check. 13. Yep. So 12 actually, because no, 13. 13. The noise gets too much in 12. Now I'm just going to bring down the agility and see if I can get closer to the highs and lows. No, that did not do it. Or did it? It did. Without adding noise, I'm now down to 5 on the agility. Still haven't added noise, and I'm still drawing it closer to the highs and lows. Wow. Man, did they ever get this good. Still. Okay, so now I'm going to try to do, I'm down to agility 1, and I still don't have noisy signals. So now I'm going to actually increase the sensitivity and see if I can't get rid of some of the noisy signals and maintain my position on the highs and lows. Oh, no. So that's the compromise. 15-1 on the 15-minute US yen pair. Now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to go into my indicator overlay and go and double check my entries to make sure that I don't have too many. And if I have to make some adjustments, because there are a lot in this area, right? A lot of signals in there. If they are too much or if they are getting too frequently false, then I might go and make some more edits. So let's grab it from here. And that is an entry. 41 dropped as a drawdown, and that's acceptable. And would have stopped out in here somewhere, so 10 pips over 13 hours. What's the next one here? Did it close below? 357, 357, it did. So then it crossed above here, and ooh, that's close. Let's see what it actually paints the candle as. So we cross below, we cross above. I do not have strength in the bulls, so I would not have entered. But there is an entry because it's like that first candle after crossing above the smooth moving average on an upward trend, because we had literally just switched from a downward trend. You can see that crossover there. So that is a valid signal. Going in, we've got the signal. Yeah, we've got the strength in the bulls. We've got enough volatility. So that would have worked out. Let's just see how well it would have worked out, because I don't really remember what it was doing. ATR is 35, so I would have put 70 plus my broker spread, which on this one I'm pretty sure it's, so 70. Pretty sure my spread on this is like 1.5, maybe even 2. Let's just do like that. And let's see how it plays out. Yep, didn't take profit. There's my take profit. Yeah, the oscillator was pinched there, wasn't it? Right on here on that drop down. It started to pinch off, you're right. However, I need to see the strength. I do look at the pinch if it's going in the, I do look at the pinch as an avoidance. I don't look at it as a confirmation. I need to see the confirmation being the strength before I go ahead and enter a trade. Now, that being said, I mean, it's just only one example, right? If I'm seeing consistently that I'm missing out, then I may have to adjust my strength histogram to account for that, right? So let's just use this as an example. Here we have another one. This is on the 15-minute chart. That is not an entry because I have strength in both the bulls and the bears. And I'm not a fan of that. This one here, strength in just the bears, but my volatility is low. So that would have been, I would have avoided that. Here's a cross above, or is this the cross above here? Which is the one? 348. Nope, that is not the cross above. This is the cross above. I have strength. I do not have the volatility to support, so I would have missed out on that one. The next opportunity, possibly here, but it didn't cross below, did it? 357, 358. It did cross below. Yep, it did cross below, so I would have, nope, because we switched the trend, right? So the trend switched, so I would not have entered. The trend switched right about here. So we're now in an upward trend. I don't take it. This one here, yes, the oscillator pinched off, but we didn't have confirmation from the bulls, from the strength. In fact, we still had strength from the bears at that candle. But the next one would have been fine because crossing was the very next candle. We have our confirmed strength. And yeah, it would have worked. That one would have worked. But again, it's a 15-minute, so it can become, especially pairs with yen. I don't have a whole lot that I do on the 15-minute chart with things that have yen in it. What does this one do here? This is a 167, so that's a cross above. Everything shows that it's possible. How are you checking strength of bulls and bears? The Lux dashboard? Good question, Shamek. Thank you. No, the strength of the bulls and bears, I'm seeing that in the absolute strength histogram. So as you can see where my crosshair is right now, that candle crossed above the green. Now that is against the trend, so I would not have entered that one. But that's an example where it crosses that, and you can see down, I have the green line bolden, and that tells me that there's strength in the bulls. I have the red line that has dimmed, so I've lost strength in the bears. So that is a potential entry. Now, I would not have, because it's against the downward trend. I would have waited until in here where we crossed above. That's a better entry, a more secure entry. I'll put it that way. 39 drawdown is acceptable, and we would have won a nice healthy amount. That's yeah, so that would have been about 3-1 almost. Does that help? Does that answer your question? I hope so. Let's check out a couple more entries here on the 15-minute just to confirm that I'm happy with these settings before I save them. What is this one? Strength in both the bulls and the bears, so I would not have entered there. Crossing below here, again, still wouldn't have strength in the bulls and bears. Volatility wasn't high enough. Volatility wasn't high enough. So yeah, no, that would have been great there. Yeah, it's a good one. I'll show you what it looks like. There you go. Absolute Strength Histogram V2 by JH. And fun little bit of information about this indicator. Long time ago, before Lux was even a thing, Alex Grover built this indicator. He built Lux, but long before that, in his early programming days, he actually built the Absolute Strength Histogram, and I love it. It has really, really helped me in my trading. Let's check out this entry. Looks good. We've got the volatility. 32. Drawdown is acceptable, and we would have won. Is that right? No, because that is against the trend, so that wouldn't have been this one here. $38. Yeah, so that one wouldn't have taken. I would have lost that one, but that's okay because I would have made it back on the very next trade. And then some because the trend switched. Coming down, coming back up. Let's see what this does. 44. Signal's good. And yep, okay, perfect. So I'm happy with that. I'll save this one. US yen on the 15-minute. I like the ATR feature embedded in it. Oh, so Shamik, I'll show you what I did there. I actually don't have them embedded. I mean, I embedded it, but it is not included. So the ATR is not included with the absolute strength histogram. What I've done, and I'll show you, is that if you click on this little button here, you can see the layers of your indicators. And and normally speaking, it looks like this, right? Oh, and not even. It's like in a separate panel altogether, right? But you can put it inside panels. So I put it inside the same panel with the absolute strength histogram, and then it moves it up there. Otherwise, it's just in another panel and it takes up too much room. So that's how I do that. I hope that helps. What else, guys? Man, we've been at it for a while here. I've got another half an hour or so before I got to go. Any other pairs? Anybody want me to open up something? Indice, maybe? I can do some indices. Other pairs, metals. Type to me, baby. Show me what you want, and I will do those charts up. All right, got a couple here. Is it possible to use Lux control on the dashboard as a way to determine? Lux control, let me just go and see what you're talking about. And then we'll go on to the Euro Australian dollar. Ooh. Euro Australian dollar. Lux control. Oh, I see what you mean. Well, yes, you can, because clearly the bulls are in control, even according to the absolute strength histogram. But it doesn't tell me whether or not the Lux control does not tell me whether or not there's an increase in the bulls and bears or the bears by the candle. So that's why I like the absolute strength histogram, because I can see from candle to candle whether or not there's been an increase in strength. The Lux control does not tell me that. Great. So I hope that answers. Euro, Australian dollar. We're going to do two more. We've got two more listed here, Australian dollar, and then the NAS 100. So let me write it down. Euro, Australian, you and your Australian dollar. I love it. Australian dollar is nice and consistent. That's what I like about it. Euro, not so much. So one has to take that into consideration when trading. Let's go find it. Euro, Aussie. Let's get rid of 2.9. Let's put on the candles for you so you can see better. Okay, and let's add our Lux. Oh, yeah, also add my volatility because it's down. Okay. Now let's zoom out a little bit here and, whoa, zoom out, I said. Here we go. Get these signals to the highs and lows. That 14.7 is a good spot to start, though. There's no question. And we'll bring it down. Brings it closer. Yep, brings it closer still, doesn't it? Another one, maybe? Nope, now it's noisy. So now we bring down the agility to get rid of some of the noise, or rather to bring it closer to the highs and lows, but that brings out noise. Yeah, so these are fairly fast signals. I'm going to try again to bring up the sensitivity to try to get rid of some of the noise that's in there. Some of the trends, they don't have to have that, right? That is the 2-hour chart, so take that into consideration. Also, because it is the euro is one of the highest manipulated currencies in the world. So you have to take that into consideration as well when you're trading, knowing that you're probably going to get more signals anyways. But now we're drifting too far from the highs and lows. So I'm going to go back again. Down. Let's go back down. Let's try 18. Jippy, we did the Australian yen earlier in the video. So when this live stream is done, definitely refer back. We did do Australian yen earlier in the live stream, and I went over those settings. What I'll do here is after I get this set up for you real quick, just to get it close. So 15 looks like, yeah, 15. And then we'll just double check to see whether or not. Yeah, okay, so 15 and 6. And I'm happy with the euro Australian dollar. Again, because of the euros, the amount of manipulation that happens within the euro, there are going to be more signals than what I typically allow. But again, that's because it's manipulated, and I don't mind. I can usually see whether or not an entry is valid anyways with my indicators. Look at David go. He's got the settings there for you, Shamak. He's got the settings in the comments. You might have already seen that by the time. There's a bit of a delay. I think it's about a 30-second delay or so between what I say and what actually happens live for you guys, what you guys see. That's just because I'm using a third-party software that I think just takes up a lot more bandwidth than other things. Okay, so let's go see what we can do. Settings, and we've got our overlay up. So this one obviously is good. Let's go see what this one's like right here. Nope, no strength in bulls or bears, so that I would not have entered, thankfully, because it actually turned around on me. Plus, it's also against the trend. So there's the entry. Let's see. Yep, that would be an entry. 363 is my ATR. That is acceptable drawdown based on that. And it would have profited. That would have been a good one. Let's check out another one. This is an entry. Nope, volatility is too low. Oh, and it's against the trend. Next one right here. This one would have lost, I believe. Yeah, this would have been a loss. It was with the trend. But we are, okay, so heads up, guys. I'm always working on making my trades better. Always. And I'm almost ready to change my rules. If you take a look at this one, the trend is bullish, right? Because the EQ says so. And so here it dips down, but it actually goes beyond the far side of the EQ band and then comes back up. Because it does that, I'm considering changing my rule where I will not go into a buy or a long position if it comes back, because now technically this could be my reversal of the trend. We're going from a bullish trend, And we've crossed below the far side of the EQ, which could be that that is an indication that we're going down. Now, in this case here, it just decided to go sideways. Long term, it did actually. So after it was finished consolidating for days, it decided it was going to go down. Right? So it consolidated, and then it continued its downward trend because it switched here, right? Because it crossed below the far side of the EQ, that is my indication that we could be into a reversal now. Again, I haven't decided that's what I'm going to for sure do, but this is an example of how much you have to be adaptive. So yeah, like maybe we change the rules because look at what happened. Look at what happened. We have this opportunity to trade. We are technically in an upward trend, but the difference between this trend going up and this one here, this one was a successful continuation. But this one wouldn't have been. And the difference is that the price action dipped below the far side of the EQ band. So I'm just to let you know that is something that I would consider, that I am considering changing my rules around. If this happens, I am not going to go back into a long, even if I get the signal for it, because this might be my first leading indicator that we are not continuing the bullish trend. Hope that helps. But I just wanted to give you guys the heads up about that. Something that I noticed. Let's look for a couple more entries here before I say this is good. So here is downward trend. We've got, yeah, see, look at this. Downward trend goes up. But then this is a great catch, right? So yeah, I don't know. Might not change my rules after all. Downward. I don't know. Downward. This is upward, but it's against the trend, so we leave it alone. We'll catch this one instead. Yes, volatility is good. And it would have been great. Okay, so this one here would have been great to catch, but and I've strengthened the bears too. Our bulls still in that candle. So absolute strength histogram. Shamek, I usually have it set to 10 and 3. That's my most normal settings. Sometimes I have to give it a little bit more smoothing just to make sure that I don't miss some opportunities. But I also, if you have too much, then you're getting into some opportunities that you don't want. So 10 and 3 is, I'm happy with that. And then I make adjustments depending on sometimes even the day. So here we have an instance where went against the trade, went against the trend, but it was a very nice run. Then we went into the reversal band and came back out. That's my entry. And everything looks good. I had enough volatility and I would have entered. 579. Oh, that would have been almost 4-1. Almost 4-1 on that trade over a period of a day and a half. Okay, I'm happy with this, guys. I've tested out enough. I'm happy. Yep. Let's save them. Ah, push the wrong button again. Euro, Australian dollar, 2 hour. Remember and remember. Let's go get the 15-minute now. Oh, it looks like I've got like my meeting here starts not for a while, but I've got people at my office already. So I might have to close it early, guys, because I don't want to keep them outside. Let me just message them and let them know. Yep. So they are here. I'm going to close things down. I wish that we would have got to the NAS 100, but I'm going to have to cut it short. But I will do the NAS 100, and I'll post it later on. I won't do it live, but I will do it, and I will show you how I set that up for trades and make sure that I post it in the Lux community. So thank you, everybody. Just quickly do the 15 here, and then we're going to be good. I am Shamak. I am based in Edmonton. I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. That is where I am. That's where I am at. We're just going to quickly get the 15-minute chart. Whoa, dialed up. And then we're going to call it good for the day. Oh, yeah, that's nice. 13. Okay, that's brought us unnecessary noise. So 13 and ooh. Yep. 13 and 4, possibly 3. Let's see. Nope. Too much noise now. Okay, cool. So 13 and 4. That is the euro, Australian dollar,